We are about 30 seconds away here from February. Non-farm payrolls expected to come through. The forecast, 150,000. The previous number, if you remember, 143. Consensus estimates here, 160,000. We'll give that to you here in a couple of seconds. Overall, the market in a bit of a wait-and-see pattern ahead of this number. Non-farm payroll, the unemployment rate set to come through first here. Again, 150,000, the expected number. 151,000 comes through there on the official number there. Taking a little bit of time, just hearing it in my ear. 151,000 versus 150,000 expected there. The unemployment rate, you can see it on this screen, 4.1% versus 4% expected. There it is, 151 for the overall number, 4.1% on the unemployment rate. The non-farm payrolls private, 140 versus 170,000, so downside for that number, but overall a slight uptick there for the February number. The market following suit, slight uptick overall, 0.5%, coming off yet another down day for the Nasdaq, for the S&P. The Nasdaq officially in correction territory as of the afternoon yesterday. We broke that 10% mark.
Yeah, it happened in July. It seems to happen a lot, Brendo. We'll have to wait and see how these tariffs affected Donald Trump, obviously putting a bit of a pause on the tariffs on certain goods for Mexico and the United States, or Mexico and
for this hour, anyway.
For this hour, yeah.
We'll see what happens next hour.
Lots to talk about today, Brendo. Broadcom bucking the trend up nicely, 11%. WBA, Green Boots Alliance looking to get bought out for about 11 billion. Tesla sales in China, very aggressive. The pre-orders out in China for the Juniper, about 200,000 already ordered. HPE reported, Brendo, Luna reported, and Gap as well. Gapping up, dare I say it?
Yeah, I mean, Lunar, kind of an interesting move there coming off what happened yesterday with that Mars. I mean, apparently it landed. They're saying that it landed, but no one saw it because the connection was lost. So
exactly.
We'll see what happens as far as that is concerned. It's worth noting, basically 10:15 on today, there's going to be a Fed speaker speaking. So it starts 10:15 right through the afternoon. Typically, they make multiple appearances. These times that you see on these calendars are typically the first, but they'll make multiple appearances depending on who it is. So Bowman, Williams, Kugler, Fed Chair Powell at 12:30, and then Kugler again at 1 o'clock. So busy day to come for the overall market. Lots to consider today, guys. Good morning.
Oh my
God. Market going up.
Kugler? Oh no.
Let's go Kugler.
Say it ain't so.
What kind of a name is Kugler? Anyways, no, I should, whatever. I've just never.
I'm making fun of people's names.
I've never heard the name Kugler before.
No, I mean, well, you're going to hear a lot of it today, apparently.
Apparently. Fed talkers.
Who
cares?
Market is.
We're allowed to go green. Yeah. What's going on today?
Almost 1%.
What? Tesla's about to go green. Nvidia's up now 2%. Palantir's now up 1.5%. I mean, yeah, we'll take it. I don't know if I'm full bore getting away from how we felt about the shorts in a general sense. But I think, after yesterday, you got to be, if you're going to short into the bounces that this market has had, you got to be very careful about how you do it, and the timing of how you do it is more important. Maybe Broadcom wasn't supposed to be our savior. It was going to be the numbers this morning. But Broadcom did a great job of not being Marvell. And I think that's one step towards maybe giving us a little bit of juice. Up 11% today. There's probably going to be a bunch of puns that other people are going to say about Gap, so I'll save them for others. Gap strong to the upside, but it's not all great on earnings. Hewlett-Packard got moked hard, so that's one that's headed to the downside. Going to be a busy day. I'm disappointed. I mean, everyone's a little bit disappointed with the crypto reserve. And it just wasn't exactly what everyone wanted to hear, like we're buying this much then, this much is bought by this time, and those kind of specifics. And we didn't really get that, so I'm not that bullish on Bitcoin in general. But the summit's tonight, so you never really know.
Yeah, we'll figure out what's going on. It looks like the market is pulling back right here. I mean, we had written down 160 as the expected number, but it does come out, right here on Benzinga. I just saw unemployment there. So unemployment 4.1 versus 4. So that's a little bit higher. Private non-farm payrolls, 140 versus 142 coming out. And then there's the non-farm payroll number, 151 versus 159. So they're actually all underneath, and it's not great. And unemployment ticking higher. So the numbers were still cool. And I don't know, that seems like a little bit too much of a move there, considering we're underneath the expected number. But yeah, I don't know, it's nice. I guess people thought it was going to be a little weaker than that, so we'll wait. We do have Kevin O'Leary coming on today at 10 o'clock, so we'll talk to him about tariffs and crypto and see what he's thinking on that side, just to get a different perspective. And I believe we're also going to have Raheem Alani come through from OCI Group right now. So yeah, man, we are very, very excited, you know, for what today could bring. It's been a rough week. And like yesterday I said, it's tough to day trade sometimes because, you know, you're short and everything's cooking. And then all of a sudden, you know, well, we're delaying the tariffs. And then whatever stock you're in, you know, pops a little bit, or the other way around. So I think patience is going to still remain key. It is every day, but maybe even more so on today, because we get the unemployment, then we're going to get Fed talking, and it should be fine. I have no idea why my voice seems to have been lost here, but
well, I know my throat's hurting because my physio guy destroyed me yesterday. I'll be the first. Hit me doing up downs. It was and a couple of like suicide shuffle thing. It was nuts. Like I was doubled over, and he's like, "You gonna puke?" And I'm like, "I'm not going to," but like I can feel it. Apparently, some people are saying Kevin is in the chat. Kevin O'Leary might be in the chat. So, Kevin, if you're in the chat, what up? Can't wait to talk to you. There's a lot that we can cover for sure. And thank you for coming on through at 10 o'clock. So appreciate it. If you want to be in the chat, remember, it's a subscribers-only chat here at Trader TV Live. So just hit the subscribe, jump in. I promise we have a fantastic community. They're great at answering questions, sometimes even when we don't see it. You can ask us questions. But to your point about the patient thing, if in the first few minutes of the day, I'm not in position, I'm not sweating it. I think a lot of times there's that rush to get the morning rush. I guess that need to be in during like that morning rush. I don't like use the same word twice, but you don't have to. And on a Friday, like it's just, to me, it's always especially true on a Friday, right? Like options expire Friday. So Friday, it's always true, but also in this particular market, I think you don't have to be in position at the very beginning. I find oftentimes some of the best trades, the opening range sets them up, and between 10 and like 10, 20, 10, 30, you really get it. Like Intel 21 was an example of that. You just kind of had to wait for it a little bit. Sometimes that first move, you got it great, but other times just a little bit extra patience. We got a busy one lined up today, excited for it, and keep your ear to the ground. The market's right back up to some of these highs. Yeah,
we just bounced off VWAP again down there. So yeah, there could be some good things happening here. I'm still thinking about fading this market. We did talk about Tesla. We're going to go back over the desk in just a second, but Tesla down here to 263, man, things don't seem to be getting any better. But, you know, as we mentioned there, that Chinese number there with the Model Y, 200,000 units. I mean, I don't know if that's a good number or not. Do something. Yeah, it's doing something. Oh, by the way, there goes crypto right now. Bitcoin back over 90,000. So I actually had Marathon Digital on my watch today. You know, I just talked about this trade just the other day. And I was like, if you go long down here at $13, use your out at 12, that's giving yourself $1 worth of risk. Well, right there, you're already now in the money $2 off of that trade. So it's already better than 2 to 1. And, you know, we could get that movement. And I was like, if you could buy that stock, get out at 17, get out at 19, hold for the 200 period, play with house money, you're doing pretty good. So right now, if you took that trade, I'd get it out, play with house money. You're $1 in right now, or $2 in. And it looks like it might start to head up to the upside here. So I am excited for some Marathon and to trade some crypto here today. So, all right, let's go back over the desk again. You know, we're going to go over the watch list. We're going to talk about, you know, various things. Broadcom was a nice number there yesterday as well. Walgreens finally gets the buyout that they're looking for from Sycamore Partners.
They should have made it more simple.
Yeah. I'm going to ask Kevin O'Leary if he's going to buy TikTok or not. There was that rumor a long time ago that he was part of a
group
consortium there. So I'm gonna find out about that, because we did get a note yesterday. Who was it that was trying
Trader
to?
TV Live's gonna buy TikTok.
Trader TV Live's trying to buy TikTok. Yeah.
Well, Sharif's kind of spearheading it because he loves it so much.
Yeah. Well, with their number one subscriber there, but. Well, there was somebody yesterday. Anyways, I don't remember. There was Snapchat and all that stuff. Alexa's somebody? Alexa? Alexa's buying it?
Now you just see. I know what you're doing because then
we don't want to call that out. All right, we'll get more on that story too. But here comes the Nasdaq, man. Just as promised, right back down. I thought that was too much excitement there for that jobs number being negative. But we'll wait, man. Back up to VWAP. I guess it's just not as bad as people thought. So, all right, we'll pay attention to the chat. We'll get some questions going as well. We expect Kevin to join us around 10 o'clock and potentially Raheem Alani as well. So, all right, back over to the desk, see what the boys are up to. Hey, it's Randy time.
All right, let's make it official here. Here's the Nasdaq, as we were mentioning off the top there, just straight from the high to the low of yesterday. It broke, but only just 10.03 or so. On the pullback. The S&P 500, not quite there yet. This is the SPY. If you want to look at the actual index, it may be a little bit different, but the SPY about 7% off the high. So NASDAQ has been worse off on a day-over-day basis, but 10% gets hit doesn't necessarily mean anything at this point. We'll see how and if we recover. Just real quick, there's Costco this morning on a gap down. Not huge, 1.7%, but Costco reports after the close yesterday. A little bit of a miss on the EPS side of things. I can't see how. Costco's around here are just impossible to even get into at this point. So
lofty expectations, I guess, with the street. Every time they seem to do a lot better. But that chart you were showing, that double top is a little concerning on the NQ, and that newer low. So both of those are quite concerning on the NASDAQ. In any event, Costco, second quarter revenue miss, same store sales higher than expected over here. So here's the deal. The street was looking for $4.11 per share. They gave $4.02, so that was a miss. Revenue was up 9%, $6.253 billion. The street wanted $63.11, so that was another miss. But same store sales did grow ahead of expectations, Brendo. 6.8, the street wanted 6.4.
It's still one of the best places I feel to restock if you need to on a weekly basis. Cart, still the best option in my opinion, brings it right to your door if you want that option. But 1.8% here, guys. It's $1,000 stock, so tough day trading stock. But Costco still in an uptrend overall.
No splits.
Man, we showed that yesterday, man. You got to get that executive club membership over there.
Ooh, that's fancy.
No, you cannot, Fabian. Fabian wondering if he gets a 2% discount if he buys the stock because he has the executive membership. I also have the executive membership. I wish that was the case. No, look, retail, I think, is still strong. That jobs number doesn't really scare anybody away. It doesn't look like it there. Costco down 1.72%. The expected return on this name yesterday, or move, was 4%. So 4% was the implied move. We were getting to, not super exciting, but fading back into the 50-period moving average. Look, all we can do, when you're investing or trading, it's just math. It's not rocket science. If you buy a stock, you like the situation there. Costco, Home Depot, Walmart, they're all American. They're all names that continue to support this 50-period moving average. Do you get dip buy opportunities? Of course you do. You get that for every market, for every stock. And it's held. We haven't tested the 200-period moving average. And unless something happens, Costco has, again, a great chain. Like, they're ready to go. They have all of their inventory lined up. I'm not... The word I was looking for was supply chain. It's fixed for them. Down into 980 would be a great buy. I think we could get into there. We could get there today. That's the 50-period moving average. And then at the end of the day, you're supported down here at 900 by your 200-period moving average. So, the NASDAQ, the ES, we're all flirting with the 200-period. You're still 10% away from that for Costco. So nowhere near a correction territory or anything. So, for me, still pretty bullish on the name. I'm already in it, and I'm not really looking to pick up any new shares. So, yeah, for me, Costco would be there. I'm not in Walmart. I know you're in Walmart, and I was looking at 92, which was the earnings day kind of bottom there for Walmart. They had that huge break back in. But again, this is why I'm sitting, sorry, the split adjusted there. This is what I'm saying about the 50-period moving average, right? I mean, the stock just riding it all the way up, flirting with it now, but it's not broken. The stock's not broken, and I don't think the American consumer is broken yet either, right? I mean, if we do get interest rate increases, potentially affecting some mortgages, and then some of the money that's on loan, then maybe you could get a little nervous. But I don't know. Both the consumer seems pretty strong to me. The wife was at the mall the other day, and she said it was busier. They went because we went to the wrestling, and my daughter went to the mall, of course, Sephora, things like that. Naturally. And she said it was busier, and I don't know. I was like, she said it was busier than it was at Christmas.
Oh,
I'm telling you, that's what she was saying. But it was a Saturday afternoon. So people are out shopping.
Yeah, it's Saturday.
People are out shopping. I don't know. I don't think it was probably stronger than Christmas. But
well, the way I look at it is like if I didn't own Walmart and I wasn't already buying Walmart once a quarter this year, then I'd probably be buying Costco on dips. So that's the only reason that I wouldn't be buying dips in the stock. But look at the weekly chart since 2020 of Costco. Now, obviously, okay, fine, yes, that's since 2020, but it definitely makes the point. So even if like the worst drawdown that Costco had was right here at the top of 22 when everything got smoked, and when you think about it, those are the types of things. Like if it does anything resembling that, usually that's you got to try to grab it. I think you can be patient if we have enough of a downturn with a name like that on the weekly chart, because even at like $900, it looks pretty good still on the chart. I don't think it's a trade. I keep waiting. We keep waiting for them to announce a split, and they just don't seem to care. It doesn't fundamentally change a heck of a lot, but I think it would be more interesting as a trade for us. Like if it was $100, I think a lot of times I'd be looking for a turnaround. Like it's such a great level, like this 990, and then right in here to 80, and that 50-period moving average to look for a bit of a bounce today. But because that's not 99 to 98 as a target zone, probably not going to trade it. Good stock, no trade.
Two other things of note. We were mentioning Tesla there. I was just moving around a little bit back to the downside. But I mean, if you zoom out here, the entire move gone, as we were talking about a little bit yesterday, but coming into significant levels once again on the back of that Model Y note. Yep. At some point, you would think there would be, people testing the water at least around these levels, but maybe a little bit further to go.
It's breaking down below that key resistance or support level we were talking about, 275. Below that, well below that actually, 260 now. So here's the deal. They reportedly received 200,000 orders for their refreshed Model Y out in China. I'm talking about the Juniper. 6,000 vehicles were already delivered in the week. Some of these 200,000 pre-orders, they're still refundable, some are not. So we don't have the exact number there. The refresh Model Y starts at about 263,000 yuan, which is about 5.5% higher than the previous Model Y. So some margin increases there. It's Tesla's best-selling vehicle, so they better focus on it. And the numbers here do matter for this because it is the most important vehicle they have in their lineup. Elon Musk did note that the factory retooling out in Shanghai did kind of affect margins a little bit as they had to shut down and get ready for the new Model Y, Brendo. So we'll have to see how all this does.
Not the first time we've seen that over in China specifically. If anyone's just joining, I saw a couple of people just mentioning. Here's the February non-farm payrolls number once again, 151,000 versus 150 expected. So basically in line with expectations. The unemployment rate, slight uptick, 4.1% versus 4% expected. So overall, I mean, the economy south of the border is still showing all kinds of strength, guys.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. It looks like we're going to have a couple different numbers there because I know we tweeted out 160 as expected number there. Benzinga right here has 159 as an expected number there. So I think it's coming out a little bit weaker, but I mean, Brendan's number there was basically in line. So 151 versus 150. We're sort of pulling at hairs here, I feel like. All right, so I still have Walmart up for some reason. Look, I wrote down on the sticky note here today, I think it's, okay, let's go back over to Brendan.
Sean, you said 160?
I thought that's what we had.
160 is the prior. That's what I see.
Right, okay.
160 is last month. So, yeah, I see it twice anyways. 151,000 this month, 160 was last.
Okay, so what I just saw here, I was sort of comparing this U.S. non-farm payrolls number on Benzinga, says 159 estimate. I have no idea, but at the end of the day, great call. A little bit lower, obviously, than the prior, as Brendan just mentioned there, at 160. So I think we're pulling at straws and hairs here, because I think the number came in.
They revised it all anyways.
They'll revise it, but it didn't really scare anybody, and I think that's the big worry, right? Like, we're worried that number comes significantly lower. Then we're going to have a jobs problem. It seems like the rates are pretty sticky right here. As we get it's March 19th, I think, is the Fed talk.
You're worried about recession,
and that's going to be a hold, right? And then I think there was like 7 or 8% chance of a cut come May. So I don't know. I'm not super excited about it, but yeah, I mean, the number came out pretty much in line, and looks like the market right here, although we went up pretty nicely, it looks like we are fading right back in. So thanks for the clarification on that, Brendo. I just wrote down for the Qs as a top trade today that we're still looking short. So I'm still feeling weak. I wrote this before the jobs, but jobs can change the move. I don't think it did at all. If anything here, it just gave us, here's the TQs, it went to 68. Like, I was looking for 68.50 up here, right? That's going to be your 200 period moving average on the 5-minute chart. It's not super significant. I mean, I think yesterday's top, which we managed to short somehow up there, I think that's going to be an area to look at if we do get running. But I don't want to be in this past this 200 period moving average. So we'll play the short in the market, because that's just been what's happening. Even when the market's been up, it gets hit right back down. So, yeah, I still want to look short, but I'm not overly pessimistic on the move today. I still feel there's something there. Like yesterday's energy move was Energy XLE is what I'm looking for. This Spider Select Energy Fund. This was up yesterday, and it had a good close, kind of just rallied into it. Closed out, near the high of the day, and now today we're opening up a little bit higher. So I think, looking at some energy could be in play there today. Again, we'll have Kevin on. I'm sure
he'll have
one of his picks during COVID, he told us about energy, and that turned out to be great. So we'll maybe get some talk about that as well. But a good space to sort of, I don't want to say hide out in, but if you're overweight in tech and some of the big,
the only fear for energy.
Recession?
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's the only thing that concerns me. With, I think it's a really good bounce. It is a good bounce zone historically for oil prices and for energy in general. So the only fear I have is that if you do get a labor market recession, the demand it can cascade, especially with austerity going around. So it's like that's the only concern. But I do like energy here as well. I think I just saw someone walk through.
Yeah, Rahim Alani is in the building.
Oh, there he is.
The PDAC conference is happening right now, so it's all about metals and mining here in lovely Toronto, Ontario. And by the way, for everybody in Miami and things like that, you know who you are. The weather's not bad here. I mean, it's -5, but it's really sunny.
It's going to be 26 degrees Celsius.
Yes.
In Dunedin in the middle of next week.
Good.
But nice. Wednesday's going to be really, really nice. So I'm going to be having a brew at a game.
Yeah, man.
I think
have more than one. Yeah, exactly. Have more than one. I mean, it's baseball.
Well, yeah.
You gotta have more than one. I mean, have one in the first inning, maybe one in the fourth. Did they stop selling there?
Don Mattingly shafted my daughter.
Why?
Last year.
What, a signature?
He was signing autographs last year to it was really early, and then he was right there. He's a bench coach for the Toronto Blue Jays, and he was there, and there was a couple of kids went down. He kind of poked his head out. A couple of kids went down. It was really early, so there was not anyone around. No one's expecting autographs. And he signed for a couple. We're right there in the front row, like 6 seats away.
Right.
And trying to go, Aaron, let's get up. Yeah. That's Don Mattingly. He's an all-time great.
And
so he signs a 2. He sees us walk over, and then he goes right back in the dugout. So what I think happened was those were like friends of like a family member or something. So he knew them and was like he spotted them and then did a special.
Were you guys like saying Don?
Well, I was trying not to. Like I said Don.
Yeah.
But I wasn't yelling at her.
Right. You weren't trying to be like that fanatic.
I didn't want to be that guy.
Yeah, you don't want to be that guy.
And Aaron didn't know who he was because he's an old, he doesn't play now.
Pretty soon you're going to be walking around the streets and people are going to be like, Neil, need your autograph.
I think I'm going to the game on Tuesday in Dunedin. I think we're supposed to go to the upgrades and downgrades. I'm sorry. I got off track there.
No, that's fine. We like stories.
Interestingly enough, both the upgrades and the downgrades have some sector or I guess area-wide upgrades and downgrades. A pretty interesting look here. We're going to start here with the upgrades, where Robert W. Baird has upgraded both Bank of America and JP Morgan Chase. We know that Scott Bessent, U.S. Treasury Secretary, said some positive notes yesterday about how the banks could be standing to benefit here from a deregulation culture. So good look for these two. Tesla here with an upgrade from TD Cowen, though it is down on the day. And Zscaler here, day 2 earnings move with an upgrade from BofA Securities. The second sector-wide move here comes for the crypto names Rosenblatt downgrading Coinbase and Marathon Digital at a pretty pivotal time. This is just hours away from the first ever White House Crypto Summit. So Coin and Mara on watch. We have FedEx getting downgraded here by Deutsche Bank. And last but not least, TD Cowen downgrading General Motors. So a couple auto names on watch here for TD Cowen. Really interesting sector-wide moves on this board today, guys.
We wouldn't trade this, but FedEx's chart actually concerns me. Because, like, it's, you know, if they're not doing well and if they're not projecting well and people aren't seeing them as strong in the future, I think it says a little bit about the economy. And when you see like the rounded top that it made into now a flat bottom 245, there's some room to the downside here. Yeah, it's worth watching. Like, you just so many things that are on a precipice of either breaking an uptrend, like we got to correction territory with tech. This could be a little bit of a canary in the coal mine there with FedEx. Not that we would trade it. It's way too much. If you're looking for shorts today, you probably find a more liquid stock than FedEx.
So, like, I know yesterday I went on like a little bit of a rant that I was not going to buy stocks anymore.
Too late.
Yeah, maybe I changed my mind already. This JP Morgan move is honestly like, I don't know. Is buying JP Morgan, I mean, I was going to say, it's like buying JP Morgan like buying a stock or just buying like an ETF of like the world's best. I just, again, you're getting that move from 280 down to 245. Like, you're getting a $40 haircut right here. Again, like, you're going to look back and you're going to say to yourself, like, I want to hold this stock for 5 years. Doesn't matter if I buy it at 245 or if I wait for down here for 230. Am I going to remember this? I mean, I probably will, but, you know, is it something that we really need to worry about? Let's just say you're flat on JP Morgan. This is not financial advice, but it's going to sound like it. I would think that maybe you nibble in a little bit. If you have 10 units to put in, let's just say 10 grand, $1,000, whatever. What about 10 or 15, 20% right now on a JP Morgan? And if single stock risk is not your thing, the ETF, XLF, I just think JP Morgan is probably the one anyways, but the same thing here for XLF. You're getting probably percentage-wise a similar move to the downside, and then you get exposure to Morgan and everybody else as well. The only problem with Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs, I don't think, so I'm still in Goldman Sachs. I still have some JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs, but I did sell way too long ago to be proud of myself. But like here on Morgan Stanley, I think, Neil, this name is hit because it's a problem, but again, I think it's just, we're not seeing, and I know we got WBA, we got Walgreens today, but we're not seeing as many mergers right now. The IPO market, especially, why would you want to IPO a stock right now, in this environment where money's coming out, not going into the stock market? So I think Morgan Stanley gets hit on a little bit of that as well. So this is more of a risky play with the current administration rather than a JP Morgan, I feel like. But
1,000% agree. I like XLF. Well, I own I own some Canadian banks, but I own Morgan Stanley, and I'm only buying XLF. That's on dips. I'm not going to play that game. I think the deal makers are in trouble. The deal makers are in trouble, and the IPOs, we may not see any of them in the first half of the year, let alone this year, the ones that we were expecting.
But then you know what? It goes back to that same thing again. Goldman Sachs is down $100 from its high, and the thing is like, it's that whole when there's blood in the streets. Like, it's easy for us to say, let's not buy these because there's going to be no deals. But that kind of means that there's probably going to be a lot of deals around the corner, right? Oh, by the way, today is NHL trade deadline day.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So will this Maple Leaf turn out to be another Maple Leaf by the end of the day? This is Connor Brown, who's not a Maple Leaf right now.
I was going to say, like, he already isn't.
But very exciting for many people around here. So like if you watch ESPN, they won't even mention today's trade deadline. Starting right now at 9 a.m. on TSN, which is like the Canadian ESPN, they're going like 9 straight hours of panel, of all of that. And there's 2 stations. There's Sportsnet and there's TSN. They're going like 9 straight hours or whatever it is until 3 o'clock. So it's like
that's what they do, man.
This is crazy times. Wow.
What we do.
But first of all,
go
I know we're going to go to Raheem in just 1 second. He's waiting there very patiently. I appreciate that, Raheem. But this market is absolutely tanking right now. We were just up 1%. You know, we wrote down on here on our sticky note that we wanted the short. Well, yeah, you had your opportunity, my guy. You're now down 200 handles. The Nasdaq is breaking below yesterday, despite getting good Broadcom numbers. I guess Mighty Mouse is not here to save the day because the market continues to get to the downside. All right, without any further ado, it's the most handsome gentleman in the building. It's Raheem Alani with the second most, Brendan Wickens. Let's go, boys.
So close. I mean, best dressed, obviously.
Trade deadline day, boys. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, let's talk hockey. Coming off the back of, is it the biggest mining conference? It's got to be up there.
They definitely say it is. So yes,
in North America,
no, for sure. It always has been the largest. I mean, Saudi Arabia is probably going to say they're probably up there now.
Right.
But, yeah, at least 25,000 people come in.
Right.
Some years 30, 40, 50, 60,000 people.
I was just joking around when Raheem sat down and said, how many times did the word tariff come up in his travels in the past few days? And he basically said, literally every conversation.
Every conversation.
Yeah. So it's
one way or the other, it touches every single facet of the market. Every single company, every single stock.
But you made a good point in that it wasn't from the standpoint of, oh my God, what are we going to do? It was more, how do you play this?
Yeah, it was definitely more of a reactionary, what are the opportunities? We're a copper company or we're a zinc company, or like, where in should we go and what should we do to take advantage of the opportunity? Because I can't, Raheem and Brendan can't show up to the great state of Idaho and say, hey, we'd like to buy a copper mine. Like, It's just not going to happen to us. But a Canadian producer or somebody that's in that ecosystem is going to have those touch points that they can go and take advantage of it. Like, I've literally had conversations with guys who were saying, I think I'm going to go buy a uranium asset in the U.S. And you and I wouldn't do that, but that person that I had the conversation with got on a flight and went to the U.S. yesterday to go look at buying those things.
And that was going to be my next question: was how important do you think, and how big is that uranium play going to be?
Again, if you listen to what the president of the United States is saying, and thank goodness he doesn't watch the stock market, so we can say whatever we want right now. It's going to be interesting because of the fact that they want to, drill, baby, drill, and do all that, and energy being a big thing in the U.S. Because if they're going to be cut off from the rest of the world, they're going to need energy sources domestically, and so uranium is a place that guys were talking about, saying we should go and extrapolate other energy sources like uranium in the U.S. that we can pick up because we have the mining intel, the ability to do it. And the DoD, DOE are putting a lot of money into that. So just again, in your research that you're doing at home, look where those agencies are putting money as well, because they've been putting a lot of money into uranium-based assets because they want to keep that kind of handle on it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, gold continues its march higher, and I mean a little bit of a pullback, but overall the trend's still well intact here. A little bit of M&A activity. Is that a surprise at this point as far as prices are concerned?
I think if you look again, if you do your homework, most people, priced in their 24 guidance as an example, $2,000 gold, and we're sitting at what, 29.20 probably right now. Yeah. We're just touching that $3,000 mark, and so the gold guys are all happy because they didn't expect 3,000 to come in this decade, let alone this generation, probably, right? When you looked at it years ago. So when you look at all of that put together, just the dollars just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And now you can start to play the math game of what's your all-in sustaining cost and where do you need to be. And now you can take advantage of the fact that your stock price has gone through the roof. You're profitable. Like, gold companies and profit generally misaligned. Yeah. And now they're profitable, they're paying dividends, they're doing all these things. So now they're saying, let's come together and get even bigger on scale and size. As we continue to go. So CXB and EQX merging. Yeah, they just announced a merger. It's not a merger of equals per se, but a $2 billion company, a $4 billion company, they're coming together. The part that we found interesting was two things. One is they're coming together, so they're gonna, they'll be in that kind of major-ish category, if you want to call it. But they did close the $75 million notes financing yesterday, I believe it was. That was already arranged. But what this does with the two of them is you generally see, if you look at both their charts, you generally will see stocks that are involved in M&A activity trade within a very tight band to the price that was decided upon, and I think it was 0.31 shares of Equinox for 1 share of CXP. But these guys on an intraday basis are still trading with 3, 4, 5, 6% deltas on an intraday basis on a larger scale name.
All right, they just showed this XTG. Talk about that one a little.
That one I thought was interesting. It's more of an investment play than a trade play because it doesn't trade as actively as some of the names that we generally talk about. But if you are looking for, I always have guys come and say, I'm looking for some production. And in gold, there's generally not some production. This is a name that's it's based out of Ghana. They actually do have some production. And for a gold company, junior, no debt. And they're doing about $2 million in net income on a quarterly basis. So they actually are producing, getting money back into their balance sheet, which is impressive for a small gold company.
And the next area is maybe one that we haven't really touched on as far as this industry is concerned. But I mean, you mentioned like the streaming aspect of this. WDM and SSL, two names that you mentioned there. Why would those be interesting at this point? So
if you're looking at making an investment into gold, you're not really sure where to go, and the ETFs are the ETFs. But if you want to look at a different way to play the gold market, streamers and royalty providers, what they do is they'll give you financing against a stream of revenue or a future royalty against all of your future sales of whatever gold, copper, whatever it is that you sell. So if you look at WPM as an example, Wheaton, stock chart looks incredible because they're taking advantage of the fact that gold has gone again from 1,500 to 2,000 to 2,500. So they're getting a percentage of sales, and they're getting it from guys who are going out there and producing. And they're partnering with generally well-known companies. I think they have 35 streams, 5 royalties in Wheaton Precious. And what it allows you to do is you don't take on as much of the inherent mining risk that goes into some of the gold players. You don't have the big delta. Like, you're not going to go up 400%, 500% on the back of a positive drill result or anything like that. But you have almost more certainty on the fact that you're going to get a piece of every ounce of gold that comes out of the ground. A certain percentage will be allocated to some of the streamers and royalties and providers out there. Right, and then SSL, Sandstorm here. Yeah, same thing with Sandstorm. They started as a mining company, really smart guys out of Vancouver. They're doing the same thing. If you look at their chart in the last little while, just against the price of gold,
That's a weekly chart, by the way.
Okay. Yeah. It'll be very close to it. Again, it won't have as big a delta as, say, a Barrick in terms of that price touch with gold. But they are finding those opportunities where they can put their money out. And, someone needs, it's almost, I don't want to use a real estate asset, but it's almost like a real estate play where I'll give you some of that financing that you need with it not being conventional debt or equity financing. And I can take a piece of the revenue that's going to be generated off of the gold that you pull out. Given the almost hourly changes that we're hearing from south of the border on the tariff talks, what was the general state coming out of this conference as far as concern, fear, just general, Yeah, no, I think it's a great question. And again, for people that are kind of more directly associated with all the things that happen, I think the mentality is going to be, with Canada specifically, it's short-term pain for long-term gain. Right. The fact that none of our governments have taken a step to build a refinery and a cross-country pipeline, and we're just going to keep going this way. Now they're saying, well, there's the rest of the world that we've all known exists, but our governments and haven't necessarily done the right things to make that happen. So I think it's almost like a forced, hey, you can't play in this sandbox anymore. Great. There's 18,000 other sandboxes that we can go and play in. And now I think we're just going to be forced to give ourselves the tools to do that. Good way to look at it. Great stuff as always. Rahim Alani, Managing Director of OCI Groups here in Toronto. On the back of PDAC, we appreciate you coming in this morning. Anytime. Yeah, I mean, thanks, Rahim. I think that there's a big need now for, we talked about this before, some gold. There's someone has a hot mic there. Oh, we got it off. Okay. Yeah, I like GLD. He dropped some names there. He talked about some Barrick Gold, getting the alpha over there. But yeah, GLD. This is actually another question that I was thinking about as far as sort of diversifying a little bit. We talked about some of the uncertainties coming through. Gold up at all-time highs right now, and some of the companies taking advantage of that, right? So, yeah, I think you could pick your spot there, do some research, get individual names, or just buy the physical itself, which would be GLD. You can also get the gold miners. There's also an index for that, an ETF for that, the VanEck Gold Miners, and that's GDX.
So again, do the research, figure it out. GDX, I believe, does pay a dividend, and they're going to be near the highs, but you still got a little ways to go. So more equity-based with the miners themselves rather than GLD, the physical gold product. But again, it's always good to have different perspective, right? And that's the one thing that I find for myself really overloaded there with tech names and the big popular. So why not maybe go to something, do some research, find some of these, no pun intended, but hidden gems in the mining industry that, can come out of nowhere. The market is like,
now we're really going.
Honestly, it's not like I'm not getting good feelings right now. I wrote down on the sticky note, and to go from a mining company over to something that has basically nothing to do with that at all. But Palantir is now underneath 80 and looking to break. We wrote this down right here, and it's too bad because on our sticky note we have, and we nailed the level. This was out before this was the number, right? Our sticky note was out before the jobs number. We wrote down Palantir 82 short. I mean, it ran right to 82, right here on the number. So we nailed, the level was huge, but it didn't look like you wanted to take it at that time. This is a name where I'm not sure you want to stand in front of when the market bounces, because if it continues that bounce, you're going to get railroaded. And we got stopped out yesterday. We took a small hit on it, but we didn't have that short. We got stopped out yesterday at $88. You're going to push $78 today. So I'm like, I don't know, man. Some of these names are giving it up way too easily for me right now.
What's interesting is NVIDIA is not as much. Like the Nasdaq just tagged lows.
It's still up.
Yeah, it's still green on the day. Nasdaq's at the low after reverting the move. Now, of course, there's still 20 minutes to the open. NVIDIA could obviously get down to its pre-market lows in a heartbeat. That's only $1 away. But for now, NVIDIA is trying to hold up. Maybe it's a little bit to do with the strength that you saw over there in Broadcom. Just one note on, and going back to the metal for a second. I mean, the way I look at it is if everyone's worried about recession, it's worth considering maybe some metals. Like silver hasn't gone, it hasn't really broken out yet. It's kind of consolidating higher. I feel like this is a play where if you wanted to consider a place that hasn't really rallied huge yet, and you are worried about an economic downturn, a recession, whatever it might be, then that's another play that you could look at. But for now, it's this move to the downside we got to concern ourselves with, because like I look over, and we're going to go over the watch list in a second, and the way we had that number bounce higher, like my first thought was, okay, I wonder if Intel had gotten to the 21. It didn't. So now it's got a level with a lower high, and I'm going to remind myself the place for this is at 21. And I still have it's weird, I still have the line in my chart, like, because you kind of draw a random line. It's still at 20.95, and I never correct it, so I'm going to do that now. But it's a general area, and patience required. But this market testing the lows, remember, this open should be wild. It's a Friday. We've seen some pretty crazy bounces on some of the more bearish-looking opens. But we got to be a little bit careful, because if you're looking to short into it, make sure you got the curl and not the fake. Let's go back to the desk, get this watch list.
The deep fake.
Yes. Looking sharp, man. Looking sharp. Always.
There he is. All right, well. What's up? Who is over there, Fabian?
I love them.
Yeah, he just said, Neil already said. Go to the desk, my guy.
All right, let's get going here. Lots to cover as we head towards the open. Broadcom, top of the list this morning. If you haven't done so, link in the description for the watch list. Jump down there and grab that. I will refresh. There we go. Broadcom, as I mentioned, top of the list this morning, up 8.4%. And that is, what is this? Better part of $15 or so off the highs from after the close yesterday. So a huge move.
Yeah, absolutely, Brendo. It was a really good report, obviously driven by AI, to be expected. So let's talk about their report. EPS handily beat $1.60. Street was looking for $1.49. Revenue $14.92 billion, handily surpassing the estimates of $14.61 billion. Their guidance as well, good. $14.9 billion for Q2 revenue guidance. The Street was looking for 14.75. Let's talk about their AI growth, though, because that's kind of the story here. AI revenue hit $4.1 billion. That's a 77% year-over-year increase. The key driver here is their AI data center vendor, Google AI chips, as well as their networking solutions. Now they're expecting AI semiconductor revenue to grow even more. $4.4 billion in Q2 is what they're expecting. Now, in terms of driving growth here, Brendo, they're working with 3 major cloud providers on custom AI chips. CEO Hock Tan revealed 2 new hyperscaler engagements and 4 4 more potential clients, and they're actually avoiding doing any business with startups. They're looking specifically for these hyperscalers, these mega cap companies, Brent.
Full percent now reversal for the overall market. Meanwhile, that's dragging down, that's the Qs, but that's dragging down Broadcom as well, guys.
All right. Yo.
Yeah. Do we
All right.
trust Broadcom today?
See, Raheem, thank you so
I
much
mean,
for everything there. And we was talking about PDAC there.
Yeah, and look, at the end of the day, Broadcom was here to try to save everything, but
Yes.
8:30, the reaction to the jobs numbers, we've already seen it. It was sort of a fake out breakout. Well, Broadcom couldn't even take out the 200 level. So I think you got an obvious spot here where it's showing you pre-market before the number, it showed you aftermarket, it didn't get through there, and then it showed you on the number that 200 was a little bit of a problem there for Broadcom. And ultimately, yeah, it's in a bit of a downward trend like all the other tech names because they just didn't, it wasn't huge, but because of Marvell's performance, it just sort of seemed like it was just a little bit better and that was enough. And it had been brought down, everything was brought down by it. So I think it's a bit of a canary in the coal mine. I don't want to be standing in front of this one for the dip buy at all. And I think it showed you that 200 level that if you were looking for some kind of a fade, that would be the play. But chips, NVIDIA, you're going to see down there. We've already mentioned Intel twice. That's where I'm going to be. Maybe even like an SMCI to the south side, and we'll get into that later. But at Broadcom, it might be a stay away. But if you get a retest of that 200 level, they've shown some sellers there a couple of times. I think you could do worse than looking at that one.
Yeah, so look, I mean, we talked about this yesterday with Broadcom. I mean, it did fall right back into some nice levels there before the report. I think it literally bounced off the 200. Wasn't that what we were looking at? Me and Joe, oh, too bad. Might not show it on our charts here. All right, so here's the Broadcom. I'm going to call up another chart so we get the split adjusted here. So AVGO, I just wanted to see, there it is, yeah, so exactly. So it falls right into the 200 period moving average. We talked about Walmart, Costco, all these names that were nowhere near it. And right now, yeah, this tech giant is right at the 200 period moving average. So you do get that nice bump. So I think you get a little bit of a bump from the technical side of things, but then they beat overall and they beat all around and the guide wasn't so bad. But at the end of the day, I don't know if it's going to hold. I see this market down. I think we want to come in and buy weakness here because it does have the catalyst of a great earnings report. But generally speaking, I like to play wherever VWAP is, and right now we're underneath it. So I would think a move back up to 198. You see what happens. You have the 200 top. I would still fade this play, but it does go against the playbook of it being up and us not, shorting it. Like, you don't want to short a good report is what I'm trying to get at. Here's the implied move for Broadcom. Thank you to Adara for putting this up again. But 9.3% there on Broadcom. Like, that's the move you're getting right now, basically, right? So it's as expected. Plus, we have the market coming back in a little bit here. So I think we could give some back, maybe half of that, put it back into 186, and we'll see what's happening. For me, Neil already nailed it yesterday. One of our top idea yesterday was AMD and Intel short. The AMD was 101, Intel was 21. So I'm going to flip that around a little bit and say, today, I'm going to look with pretty good conviction down here at 110 for NVIDIA. So we don't, NVIDIA's actually on the board last. So we could talk about that, but I like that. And then we'll be talking all about everything. But Intel, again, we love that 21 area. We shorted that yesterday. It was huge. It was a great trade. And then AMD, we shorted 101, which turned out to be huge as well. So those were like the two big shorts that we wound up holding yesterday. This 101 level was monstrous. We shorted that. We went to the gym. We came back and it was down here. So that was fantastic for a play. I don't think we necessarily want to leave any trades on board, but that was right there with the 10-cent stop. So we were fine with that. But yeah, I like AMD here today. Short if we can get it. I don't think these 101s will be kicking, but patience going to be key in actually also in the crypto space, but definitely today in the chip space as we got a big earnings report that we have to sort of work our way around. But all right, man, it's crypto summit time. We just bounced off 90,000 again. Let's go see what the boys have to say about BTC AL.
Portion of the show brought to you by Foremost Clean Energy. Unlock the nuclear renaissance with Foremost Clean Energy, leveraging one of the biggest mega trends on the planet, nuclear energy. Partnered with Denison Mines with properties strategically located in the Athabasca Basin, known as the Saudi Arabia of uranium. This undervalued company is poised to capitalize on exploding nuclear market and offers unparalleled growth potential. The future is nuclear. Foremost is your entry on the Nasdaq. FMST here in Toronto on the CSE. FAT is the symbol, foremostcleanenergy.com. It is Crypto Summit Day at the White House. Remember, BTC, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and Cardano all mentioned by President Trump.
Absolutely. Yesterday, Brendo, he signed an executive order establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve for the U.S. that includes already Bitcoin owned by the U.S. government, which is about 198,000 Bitcoin, totaling about $17 billion. There will be a separate digital asset stockpile, not reserve, stockpile, different meaning here, which will hold forfeited cryptocurrencies other than Bitcoin. Now, with respect to what's going on here, so we're looking at the U.S. picking up more Bitcoins, but not using taxpayer dollars. So they're looking for what they call budget neutral strategies for buying additional Bitcoins, but they will not be picking up new Bitcoin dollars new Bitcoins with new money.
Which is, we talked about it earlier in the week, the reason primarily that we thought we had the big move downside here. That said, 0.6 right now. I mean, this is IBIT, but a little bit of a bump here, guys, for Bitcoin.
Yeah, over the weekend, actually, no, the only thing I'm doing, I already have an order in. The only thing I'm doing is leaving my order in to buy this one in front of 74. That's all. Or the 75 something or whatever over the weekend. Because I think you have a bit of a trifecta here where, well, not really. Because you got the summit tonight. We already had a little bit of exuberance with the announcement, and then we get the follow-up about the specifics in this particular case. That there's no direct buying yet. Obviously, the budget neutral stuff, that could still happen. You got a 1 level, you got the 50 level on Bitcoin. Like, that's the place that I'm watching, on IBIT, I should say. The 50 level on IBIT. That's worth watching for an over-under. Meaning, if it loses this level, there's a big trend down, and if you're bearish in the market, it's hard to like the short away from the top, like it is right now, because you're under 51. So it has to break 50 to be in trouble at least today. But there's other things I like better. So it's not the front of the mind, because between Palantir, NVIDIA, Tesla, we'll get to Tesla in a quick little second. I think there's just a few other names that I like even better. And I'll be trading some Walgreens as well. Like, it's too much to also be getting into IBIT, diddling in the middle right now.
Look, someone just asked, what's up, Bert Lee? Do we see a rebound in the Nasdaq? No, but I just put an offer right here at the highs to see if somehow we drift into this area, 67.50 or so, to start on the Qs. That'll put us up about 0.5%. So I do think we can get back up there. All right, my idea, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know if you think it's going to be a rip rally or anything like that. I think we could have a pretty exciting open, that's for sure. Look, I wrote down here Mara today, dip into 14 long with Bitcoin being stable. I wrote down stable there because it's just hovering between 88 to 90. It's kind of doing its little dance there. And if that happens, then I do like, and we're not going to get there right now, but that level held yesterday, 1450. If Bitcoin can come back in and talk to 86-ish thousand, something like that, then yeah, I do like that trade on Mara that I've been sort of talking about here. That's the hold down. I mean, maybe I have to zoom out a little bit. This to hold that 14 right here. I don't, there is some garbage underneath. We could go lower than that. But I think if you take a bid around 1420, you can wait for 1380 being the ultimate bottom. So if crypto does fall out of favor today, then I like Marathon down there. And I just wanted to show everybody, I was saying this to Neil because of just to get a good look at what could possibly happen. So like, here's all the names, right? I mean, and if you're just going to look, the last 7 days. So last weekend, we get that tweet out of nowhere that talked about Ripple, Cardano, and Solana along with Bitcoin, right? And we ignored Ethereum in that tweet. So you get 10% up for Bitcoin. Ethereum just doing its own thing. This is 7 days. There's Ripple, 21%. Solana, 4%, kind of ignoring that as well. But this is the one, Cardano's the one that I'm in it, and we've talked about how I like it, but like 42% just seems to be, a little frothy. Let's wait to see some of these ideas, and we'll just hear more from that summit, right? I mean, I don't think it's going anywhere, but it's going to be interesting to see where outflows come from. Remember, big moves happen over the weekend as well with the Chinese market. Look for a Sunday night move possibly, and then into tonight as well. So we'll wait. The market's going to open up. You do have $50 bottom there for IBIT. Test it if you like. I'd rather look at Mara there. Coinbase is also a juggernaut in this space for sure. We got to get going because we don't have much time left. But again, Coinbase, if mining, if custodial is going to be a thing, a lot of this being held at Coinbase. So the fees are going to come through. We heard Robinhood talk about a 700% increase in crypto trading as well last quarter. So this could be a name that's been really beat up. And again, I don't think this is a crypto name, but something that could get going again. I like Robinhood down here as well, but we already talked about buying JP Morgan. So anyways, all right, let's go back over there. HPE apparently crushed along with Dell.
Bad.
It's still down 15%, but trying to get back to the upside right now. It was the guidance that was an issue. We'll touch on a couple here to get through them.
Yeah, so here's the deal, Brendo. HPE, bit of a tougher look. So EPS, their earnings, 49 pennies. That was in line with what the street was expecting. Revenue, 7.85 billion. That beat the 7.82 billion expected. Net profit increased nicely here, 598 million, essentially $600 million in net profit. So not a bad look. Now, with respect to their guidance, this is where it got weak. 28 pennies to 34 pennies. EPS, the street wanted 50. Revenue, 7.2 to 7.6. The street wanted 7.93. So a miss there. That's for Q2 guidance. Full year 2025 guidance for EPS also missed handily. $1.70 to $1.90. The street wanted 213. They're also making cuts, Brendo. So they're going to lay off some people here, sadly. They announced about 2,500 employees, which is about 5% of their global workforce. $350 million getting cut there. Tesla, interesting look. We talked about this one already. They received 200,000 orders for the refreshed Model Y, the Juniper in January for China. 6,000 vehicles going to be delivered the first week. It's their best-selling car, so this is really important for them to get it right.
Yeah, Dan Ives as well, banging the table once again on 550. They're going to maintain 550 as their price target for Tesla. There was a couple other positive analyst notes this morning as well, but obviously the Trump ties a bit of an issue still, guys.
You better be buying a boatload of it at $259 if he thinks it's going to 5. I mean, it's the thing, timeline. Like, what is that, a 12, 5-year, 2-year? I don't know. Some analysts are different. Look, Tesla, running short on time here, so Tesla, continuation until proven otherwise. So you look at this, you got 65, you got 62, that's that pre-market low in there. I think the pop and fade, trying to be patient into that range, and if it's busting out above 265, no fighting it. It's trying to keep it simple with Tesla. So, it's the same way about Intel. If it breaks 21.25, no fighting it. But as long as it's around that 21 zone, want to be able to put in the fade.
I just want to say, if you're a part, I said to people, good morning, how's it going, whatever. Rage says happy Thursday. I said maybe Friday, today, so today being a Friday. Oh, BigBear.ai. Yeah, I switch it over. All right, we're going to talk about this real quick. Neil just talked about Tesla. I don't know. I'll wait on that stock for today. BigBear.ai down 15%, actually close to its implied move. Right there, holding 350. I'm bidding 350 right now just to see what winds up happening. We talked about where this stock could potentially go. We're long near $5. We've talked about that as well. So tried to play it off the 200, off the 50-period moving average. At the end of the day, I don't think we get down here, but with 21% short, yesterday we saw Rigetti right here as well. They got crushed yesterday off earnings, and then we noted the high. That's still BigBear.ai. I don't know why it didn't flip over to Rigetti. There we go. Yesterday we had that huge move down as well off earnings from $8 into $7, and then this happened straight off the open, obviously before giving some back with a similar short float. So look, obviously if we're long, we're going to be thinking and hoping that it goes up. But right now, it wasn't great, man. They guided a good number, but they lost 45 cents versus, I think it was expected 5 cents. So yeah, money's going into work right now for BigBear.ai, and we'll see about a long. Should pop in immediately for me here as we're bidding. Oh, we were just bidding 51s, but we didn't get it. So 51, BigBear.ai. I'll probably hold this down to $3, see if anything happens down there. But I just wanted to give that little bit of a look again for BigBear.ai. So yeah, not a great report for sure. 250, we might be seeing that. That's your 200 period moving average. So yeah, this data name, downside. Palantir back up through $80. At least that is good. So we'll wait. We didn't have any expectations on earnings. The way it fell from 10 now down to 3, I don't know, man. Like I said, Palantir went from $40 to $7.
You know what's interesting about Big Bear? 350, 3, and 250 are all the levels on the daily chart, which makes it a perfect SSR play today because every 50 cents to me is an SSR bounce area. It's just clean. We only have 1 minute to go here. I don't know if we're going back up to the desk, but NVIDIA is the last one. 115 was the level yesterday. Obviously, if we get there, we're probably going to like it again, but also looking at the pre-market high, prior lows, morning lows, afternoon resistance at about 112.5, so that 113 area. Again, patience and letting it get to the level as opposed to just standing in front of a moving freight train at the open. It's Friday, remember options expiration. It's a busy day today, packed, little Fed talk, and we'll have the crypto summit as well. We're gonna have Kevin O'Leary on at 10 o'clock, so it's a very, very packed day in here, so be patient. Make sure stocks get to your price levels and follow your plan of action. But with that, for the final bell of the week, let's get it over to Adara, brought to you by Foremost Clean Energy. Shout out to them, FAT on the CSE, FMST as well on the Nasdaq. Adara, ring it in 2 and 1.
Okay. Oh, we didn't actually get to look at too many of the imbalances to start off the day there today. But BigBear.ai does have a sell imbalance, so we'll let that settle out here. Not open yet, BBAI. We took a bid there at 52, so we're in that. All right, let's go over to some more names that might be moving. I'm looking at NVIDIA hovering around 81. That was Palantir up to 81. NVIDIA right now, 1150. So we'll wait to see 111.50 for NVIDIA, trying to hold out at that 110.50. That's been the bottom. Okay, we're in it right now. Our first trade of the day is Big Bear. It's right here, and it's open. So here we go. We're long at 51s, as we had mentioned there, so we'll wait to see what happens now with BigBear.ai. Palantir goes for a run and almost gets to 82. It stops at 81, so we'll see. Now 81.50 and change. We're going to try to short this 82, but we're getting out at 82.50. If it runs 82.50, then we are out of this trade, waiting to short right now. $82 on that.
Intel's starting to climb here.
Okay, good. So we have
2060 already.
60s, okay.
Yeah, Intel's at 2060. Remember, it's that 21 level. It was a fake out early on the short for Intel. You remember that. It gave you a little bit of a win and then screamed right into 21. So we're going to let it get to that price. I want to warn some people here. Anybody that's trading Walgreens, it's $11.45, the cash price. There's a CVR worth up to $3 on this thing that I have absolutely no idea how to value. So I trade these every single day. I have no clue how to evaluate the top end of this price. So I would be very cautious shorting into the bio price of that stock if you happen to be trading. I think it could be very dangerous, but to each their own. So Intel, the next one, 21. Tesla's absolutely ripping faces off as well. So I think if you were looking for the pop and fade, yeah, some of these names look like they want to oblige. NVIDIA very close to the 113 top as well, got to 112. Not quite into that high. Let's let it close another bar or two and make that charge up. I said in the first 5 minutes I wouldn't mind if I didn't get into anything.
Yeah, I'm waiting here. So Big Bear has made its move down. I'm just waiting for it to stop the pressure right now because remember, short sell restricted, right? Down this much, you can't actually, all right, we'll try it there. We'll see if 40. We just bought some more there at 40, giving us an average price of 45. Okay, Palantir. Now let's just wait. So that BigBear.ai play, we were just trying to see if momentum sort of gave up on the downside there. But here we go, man. We're short right now at 81.75. So we'll take out, okay, well, we'll take out 25 cents right there. See if this can come, okay. This is turn, okay, this turning. Just say it one more time. Okay. There's a 75-cent winner. There's a $1 winner right there to start your day on, that's a smoking one, not a $1 winner. But right there, we'll try to do this one. The Dollar Club coming in for us on Palantir. And again, as Nas would say, it was written right here. So 81.75 off that $82 short. So there it goes, man. Yes, sir, Neil. There it is, man. Your first trade of the day is a good one. We're in BBAI, but obviously with more confidence here into Palantir. So here we go, man. It's a nice move. It's an early Dollar Club winner there for Palantir. So lighting the lamp early here on the short. I mean, I love Palantir long. It's just, unfortunately, we just play what we see in front of us, and you get that spidey sense going. And like I said, man, we knew Palantir was a little bit of an issue down around this area. But we're out already of 40% of the trade for that dollar, because yesterday we had a very, very similar fate where we hit it early, and then it just turned around. So be careful here with Palantir, out of 40%. Let's put out another bid. There we go. We take one at 81.05. Now under 30% left for Palantir.
Yeah, great trade over there. I'm still not in anything, because anything I'm looking at that I want short is actually rising and still looking very strong. Intel back at the high of the its current high of the day. Nvidia also pressing right into 112.5. Still looks like it wants that 13 level. Again, just be a little bit patient. We are absolutely screaming to the upside in a couple of names. The Nasdaq's not doing a heck of a lot just yet. And I'm just going to go quickly over. Oh, BBI's New York. Never mind.
Yep.
Any even dollar on this stock, and maybe even the quarters, I want to play for an SSR bounce on BBAI. But $3 on the daily is a level for sure. Yeah, let's go to Adara.
Bouncing here.
Actually, two small caps on watch right now. So WHLR is the first one. Wheeler Real Estate. This is an REIT, or a real estate investment trust. No news on Wheeler. It's about $1.30, but it's notable. It's run in the past, notably had a multi-day rally in July of 2024. And also, it has about a 160,000 share float. It's a very small float. Another small float name here is Icon, ICON, Icon Energy Corp. This company is an industrial name, and they have about a 1.3 million share float, guys. So two low float runners, WHLR and ICON. Back to you.
So we thank you, Adara, for that. And again, Dara's going to come with us with all the news and anything that's breaking our backs. Today is BBAI. But right now, Palantir, we'll take another piece out for that dollar. Now I'm going to wait. So I'm waiting at 50s to take that $1.25. And then I'm waiting down here at the 50-period moving average, see if we can get an 80. But we just took another out. So with the market going to the upside right now, I am pretty cautious of a Palantir rip your face off rally that can happen at any moment. So we are getting lighter and lighter on that one right now. So, okay, we haven't layered into this really yet on BBAI. There really is no bottom. What I'm trying to do is just play some kind of a rally, a relief rally at some point. You never like to see this down another 5%. I mean, it was down 16% at the open. Now you're getting hit even lower. Remember, there was a sell imbalance, and you can't hit the off. You can't hit the bid because it's short sell restricted. So that could give it a little bit of a boost up. Look, we're long here at 38.
Tesla 265.
I'm not going to panic that. Tesla's at 265.
Tesla, okay, but we're going to go to Darren in a second. I just heard, but Tesla just went 265. Yesterday's wick high was in the afternoon was right there. So this is the over-under. No fighting above 265, but it does the curl, and this will be the first one that we get in, and that's if it can even do a curl at this point. Let's go to Adara.
More morning movers to be aware of here. One of them is Phoenix Motor, PEV. This is a penny stock that's run in the past. Yesterday, announcing their projected 2024 revenue above expectations. This one's notable because of its 22% short float. Another name on watch here with the 7.5% short float is HE Hawaiian Electric. Near day's highs. I don't have any news on Hawaiian Electric, but again, 7.5% short float. Only about 500,000 shares traded on the day, though, guys. Back to you.
Alrighty, thank you, Adara, for
Gina.
that one. Yeah, we got out more Palantir there at 81, but here it comes right back in. We may get that 50 fill that we're looking for right now on Palantir. So we're only in this name. Well, we're all there. It is. Yes, sir. Let's go, man. Finally, and we said that we wanted to today do what we wanted to do, and we did do that there with Palantir. So congratulations, anybody that's on that one. All right, Broadcom right now. I know Neil's in Tesla, so we're both playing the shorts here. BBAI is not a long against the market or anything like that. It's obviously going to be very stock specific. I said Broadcom could get to 186, by the way. And there's 186 on.
Fire?
Yeah, there's I was like Broadcom could turn red.
No, I'm
By the
sorry,
way.
that was on Tesla.
Okay, yeah, Tesla. Okay, so go ahead. You're on Tesla?
Yeah, so I just said, what was that buyer
okay.
just now here on Tesla? Okay, maybe they just blew through them. But right here at the prior pre-market top, there was a buyer that just emerged, and they're still kind of swiping it every time it gets underneath 63. So a little bit of a spike up. I had a horrid price on Tesla just there. I tried to get it back through 65 and ended up not getting a shot till 64. So I had to size way down because that was like $1 away from the price that I wanted it. Let's let it get back to 265 as well. Intel's still trending higher and holding higher lows. So let it get into 21. See, this was a mistake. Yesterday, by this time, I was already short twice and out twice on Intel. That's the difference. Letting it get to our price level makes more sense here. NVIDIA, I did try to grab NVIDIA though on that last push up to the top. Didn't get it. NVIDIA is still looking relatively weak. So it's a quick in and out on Tesla. Don't want to fight it too much. And yeah, BigBear.ai just did a trend break there. It's kind of hard to see on a 3, but on a black chart in the 1, it just did a trend break off the quarter.
BigBear.ai, yeah. I mean, we're long BigBear.ai here. So, yeah, we're going to try to go 2 for 2. We're long at 38s. So, again, a stock that we tweeted out about it is going to be one of our plays here on the note. So, we're going to try to take it. Yeah, again, good out there on Palantir, down near that low. Let's just see if it's still there when it comes back up. So, I'm going to try to short 82 this time, get a little more, you know, a little closer to where we would like to be at right there. And that's what I'm going to do. Short it, and remember, if we break, I'm not going to give back what we made. It's just we're going to try one more time here. I mean, it's still early days here. It's 9:40. I'm going to give it to 82.50. If we break 82.50 on PLTR, then we're out. But for right now, it's been a good one. I'm shorting at 82 to take 50 cents worth of risk. Our last fill was $1.25, and I'm not putting on the same risk. So did we just get that short? No, we did it. Oh my! What price exactly was I at there to not get that? I was at 82 even. So, all right. Oh man, that sucks because normally we're at 80, like 81.95 or something there. We just missed an opportunity. That's completely my bad on that one. So, all right, BigBear.ai. So it's starting to go. We just took out some there at 40s or 30, I think at 38 there. So we're going to wait to see. This is where we're at. That was a mistake. We should have been at view up there at least at 40, but we're not trying to take 1 or 2 cents, man. I don't even, my next offer here on, that was just a mistake. My next offer is at 40s, sorry, at 50s, which is where we should be. So we want to be up there at $3.50 for BigBear.ai. So that's going to be the play for me, waiting in and around that area. Here it goes, Neil. Let's go, man. It's your face slapper of the day so far. For me, anyways, BigBear.ai. We were able to buy some there at the bottom. Let's see if it goes. I'm just getting excited because maybe it goes now. I don't know if it does or not. Okay, but there we go. There's Palantir. It does run the 81.50 area. We're a little bit higher than that, you know, just to give us a little bit of room. We're in the 60s for a stop, but at the end of the day, it just did run that level. Look at the futures, Neil. We're all the way back up into view up and starting to climb a little bit higher now. So I'm still going to wait. I still want to short the futures, but I'd rather give it this little opportunity to pop up into this area with the non-farm payrolls number came through. So we'll wait to see. We're right at these levels right now for Palantir. We know where that stop is. Unfortunately, that is going to be a trade that looks like we'll get stopped out on. But hey, we're here right now, 82. You know, let's put on one more unit right here, just to give us a little bit of a better price in case we make that move down, which we're just doing. We just averaged in there at 30s. Our average price right now is 82. Let's take off some pressure if it gets back into 82, and then we'll see for a drop. But our stop is 82.60, 82.65. So it looks like we're going to get stopped out on that, which is fine. We did not reload. We reloaded a third of the position. So go ahead.
I'm out of NVIDIA. Just going to show you the chart right in here. It broke the local high, so we jumped out. We're short underneath. But Intel just got to 20, I mean almost 21. It got to 2097. So it's not all the way there yet. Remember, this made a move. 21.15 was the top yesterday, and that's where the resistance is. I want to give it that quarter. So I think you got to give it a little bit of wiggle room up at that height, but I'm starting to get into it, and we want a retracement into VWAP initially. Let's go to Adara.
Well, names to watch out for here. Solar really strong across the board. This is Enphase. We also have Solar Edge on watch. Both of these near days highs. Enphase looking a little bit stronger here. And also, I wanted to mention Hawaiian Electric again. I mentioned earlier I couldn't find a story on this one. It was actually upgraded here by Evercore ISI to outperform with a $14 price target. So $14 price target for HE, which is currently trading around $11.60. And again, this one does have about a 7.5% short float. Back to you.
I'm not trying to get, thank you, Adara, for all of that. Palantir does run it, kind of as expected a little bit there. It's funny because I was at Intel literally at 21, not trying to make that same mistake. So good thing you brought that up because maybe now we'll have to change our price. Obviously goes up there to $20.97. Good look on that one. All right, I'm going to go with a stock that's a little more aggressive. I mean, maybe not as a percentage-wise, but definitely up here near $100. We talked about AMD 101 yesterday, and we had that, and that was fantastic. But we had to sort of go through it. It didn't turn around until about 11 o'clock, right? So we're going to average into this one. You know, just looking here, it's not like the greatest opportunity because you're above everything right now and you're kind of fighting the trend as it looks like maybe the trend could be to the ups. Okay, there we go. We got Intel, by the way, at 21 finally. So I know you're short as well. So we're just short some chip names right now. I'm going to use this as my level. $100.20 is where we'll stop out on AMD. But there it is. New position alert. And of course, you know, as it was written again, there, you know, we get stopped out and then Palantir tanks. So,
I forgot about Rigetti again.
A little bit. I mean, our average price was 82.30s. There it goes, downside. All right, that's fine. All right, so we're into Intel right now. That little drip went down to 87. If I can get like 15 cents on this trade, I think it would probably be worth taking it. Yesterday's high, let's just double check that to make sure. 21.15, so we'll play around with that level. But look at the market. Might not be the right time to go short. We talked about free fall Fridays. It's definitely not falling down today. Almost straight up since the open, right? Nice move. You see the volume candles are all green side right now. So we'll look to maybe short the TQQs. The level that we wrote down, we want to stick with it, is 68.50. So we're still a ways away from that one. Right now, short AMD, short Intel, and long the bear one. I'm long a name with bear in it, so that might not be great, but we're long BigBear.ai, and we're actually flat on that trade right now, so we're going to give, thank you, Sharif, for that. We'll give this a little bit of a movement here with Intel. So let's put our bid at 2090, see if we can take 10 cents on half, and then rejected, says Jerome Powell, who's coming through at 12.30.
And speaking of coming through, Tesla just came right back through 265.
Boom.
So we had that move on the way down. Where we got out, there's still a buyer at that 263. And I was like, who's that buyer? Well, they're still here for now. If we make another push and wick that 265 again, I'm going to go short there. But look at what's going on in NVIDIA. So I got out
tanking,
tops.
Hopefully.
Yeah, it's tanking.
Yeah.
I got top wicked on NVIDIA. And now I have to be patient waiting for another re-entry. I totally forgot about Rigetti, everybody. But right now it's about the chips and getting into another chip short. And SMCI might just be the opportunity because SMCI is also right back at resistance, that 37.5 level. So if NVIDIA is not going to give me the shot and we're already in Intel, then SMCI putting a trend reverse as we speak. Hopefully we get a shot at that NVIDIA one more time. But hey, if it tanks now, it probably drags other names down with it. If it's going down, Intel shouldn't be up.
Yeah, we're going down here in the market, it looks like, in general right now. But we just held VWAP again. So, yeah, scratch that comment right now as we wait to see where VWAP is going and what's going on with the market. We just got VWAP on AMD, which is why we hit that siren right there. So we shorted AMD. It's not a huge trade, but it just is at the level, right? And so we want to celebrate when we get two levels and able to do a little bit of damage on that trade, right? So there it goes. AMD, nice downside play here so far for us today. So yeah, we'll continue to support that play and see what winds up happening. Alibaba, we're hearing, is also getting a pop right now. So Alibaba getting that pop through. Let's go have a quick look. Yeah, Intuitive Machines Lunar yesterday. Hey, my guy. Yo, how's it going over there? All right, glad to hear. All right, so just real quickly, there goes Alibaba, 145 and change. Neil's been trading some Tesla, so I don't have too much comment on that right now. But there goes AMD, a nice little downside move. Intel also a couple pennies in the money right now as well. So You could just say, yeah, Neil would like a T, Randy, there, if you want to. So there you go. Neil, please, would like a T, Randy. Okay, so right there, AMD short, BigBear.ai long, Intel short, and that's it. So we'll wait to see what winds up happening with these three plays. If there's anything else you guys want to look at.
This market's super strong right now. Like I can tell you SMCI just got right up to 37.50, that top. Wicked it again, so I got in the 45. It got right to the prior high. The second it ticked the prior high, just like Tesla, right back to the top. So that's the market that we're in. It's blasting to the upside. I got to go over to Rigetti because, as I said, Rigetti, again, so strong off the open, holds the low. It's running toward that high of the day. We missed the Rigetti long yesterday, and I don't want to be in that same boat. If there is a push anywhere close to 875 on the way back down, are going to try to respect it. Also, because it's moving way too much for me to completely ignore this, there isn't a bigger fail than me trading on Walgreens today. I said that there was that CVR and the buyout price was not as relevant, that 1145, and then I had the long off VWAP twice, and I did that thing where you trade P&L and you just get out of it because you're up money. And it was idiotic, and this is squeezing people right now, and I'm not long, even though I thought this could happen. I would be very careful shorting this stock because I wouldn't know how to price this 1145. It's not just a cash deal. Let's go to Adara.
Just keep an eye here. There's some like nice strength in this market here. Chinese ADRs, Neo really strong here, Li Auto, also Alibaba. But another name I want to mention here is AppLovin. This name's been pretty beat up as of late. Dealt with 3 short reports over the course of 5 days last week, but AppLovin today bouncing pretty nicely, about 6% to the upside. They also have about a 6% short float. No news today for APP. Back to you.
Loving it. So good stock there. I know Adara likes to trade that name, so we'll definitely have a quick look. Look, man, I mean, I'm still in these names, so we're still trying to figure out what's going on. Intel, we did not get that bid down there in the 90s, so we'll wait to see if that can come through here one more time. AMD is just doing its thing. Oh, there it is. There's Intel. All right. I mean, Intel's going to be a good name for me, so let's wait and see there.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, so I think we got 91s. We just got a little bit ahead of that one right there. So we set ahead and get it. So not bad right there for us. Let's just continue to see what happens with Intel. Again, I like the short. We're still short here on AMD and Intel. So those are the two plays that we've had. We were short on Palantir, but again, you know, we had mentioned that we didn't want to hold that one for too long, and so we didn't do that at all. And now we're fine with it, right? So it's all good here on Palantir. We're out flat on the day for that stock, obviously there. And then I just think the big home run could still be right here with BigBear.ai. So I you know, well, let's just wait on that. Like I'm waiting at 50s. If we can get that fill, great. And then I you know, maybe it stabilizes a little bit there for BBAI, and it's not been a great stock. So there's that happening. All right, here we go. Neil, down into 87s again for Intel. So this has been a big stock, man.
I just got 80. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah. So, you know, good stock here, good name. We just got an 88 there for the fill. Again, you know, using some shares to see about that short. We shorted it yesterday. It was fantastic. So we're going to try to do the same thing right here again today. And by trying, I mean doing. We are short, and we're getting that trade. Now it's 50 cents in the money, so hit it again, man. So right now, we've got the big bangers right there. I know Neil has a trade on. I just hit that, so I didn't see what it was. But right now, this is what we're in here. So far, so good, man. 2 trades so far today. 3 trades. Palantir flat, unfortunately. There we go. We both got the Intel. So nice trading happening over.
I'm only half out of Intel because I want to see if it can get to VWAP and break it. But NVIDIA is also right back at the high. So that's the half concern. NVIDIA dragging a lot of things up with the market reaching those tops. This is the 113. It's wicked it once. I've already been stopped out of it once. This is the loser of the day for me. SMCI was a small loss because I got some out and then for profit and then kept the stop. Tesla, we had a quick scalp trade on, but we didn't really, it wasn't at a level or an entry that I really liked. So it was just a really quick scalp trade. But NVIDIA churning that 113 level, need to see a rejection in a lower high. Otherwise, not going to stand in front of this rocket ship. You know, if you're going to start keying in on a top on the Nasdaq, why not at least let this sucker get to where we got at 830? You know, at 830, we made a top here at 20,275. So at least let it retest that top. Anything that's holding underneath the highs, like Intel is, while we approach those highs, I like. But if it's breaking out, I don't want to stand in front of it. Rigetti, unfortunately, Rigetti's on one of those moves, and if you looked at it off the open yesterday, you just had to wait for the initial topping tail and the first available dip. It's just gone now. So let it make that first dip. Try to be really quick about it if it comes anywhere near VWAP. So that's the plan of action for me on Rigetti. This is 2 days in a row off the open. Rigetti's been a day maker. I hope somebody was at least on this stock. It's twice we didn't even look at it. I didn't look at it.
Yeah, I'm not on Rigetti either. But we just got, we're on BigBear.ai. And BigBear.ai is going to be it is right now a good position. I'm fine with holding it. But we just got another one right there. So we'll go money bags here a little bit because we just got 99 flats there for AMD. So we're getting lighter and lighter on this position, man. We have about half left. As I'm not sure if it wants to tank, but let's hold half in case it does right here because we're 50 cents in the money. Our stop is like $100. So we're pretty close to 1-to-1 right now and really enjoying life on that name. So right here, we're enjoying life on BigBear.ai because if this goes, man, we have a decent sized position. We don't give away our share sizes on here, but it's going to be the largest position, 4 or 5x right here that you're seeing. So let's just wait to see. It's only a $3 stock, so it's not saying much for the position sizing. But let's go. Again, okay, there it is. Did we just, yes, we got that 49. So we're spinning a little bit there as it does come back up. We do want more on BigBear.ai, but I got to take something out, man, at 50 cents. So there it was, man, 325 was a good long. That's what we took. We've been taking it the whole way. So now let's see if we can go. I mean, the 200 period moving average on this name. Again, an earnings play, right? So that is $3.60 coming into play right there as well for Big Bear. Thank you, Mr. Rob. I almost called you your last name there, but thank you so much for that one. One more time. How's it going? You're normally here on Fridays. Yeah, it's like the midweek sometimes.
It's
right.
Randy
always,
that's the surprise.
Yeah, exactly, man. Tell Randy to, whatever, man. Rob needs some days off on Friday, so let's start that rally move.
Right, here comes the bounce in. Here comes the bounce in Intel. It's right back up toward the top. So remember, 21's a number. 21.15-ish is the prior high. So it was like 13 yesterday, and like the day before, it was resistance above 21, right into the 21.15. If it breaks the quarters, I'll be out if it breaks 15. But if it breaks the quarter mark, I think this is a stock that turns into a bit of a reversal play. Tesla is still finding trouble up at this top. Like, here's all these wicks into the prior high. It's starting to get a little toppy as the Nasdaq gets up to that high. So it's this I'm looking at. It's NVIDIA, which is not showing any signs of turning at 13, so I have to wait for 115. And Rigetti. Rigetti could be doing... We'll see. This is the start of a potential top. Remember this yesterday. When it dropped, it was a very big, it was a 10% down move and then a long for the rest of the morning. So I'm looking for a similar drop into VWAP. It'll usually happen fast when it's been this parabolic. So Johnny on the spot if this pulls into a VWAP any second now. I
just wanted to say this right here. What's up, Dutch Cuts? What's this dude's obsession? Hey, what's up, dude? What's this dude's, me, obsession with shorting AMD and Intel? How about this? Money. I mean, that's my obsession. We're obsessed with making good trades. And yesterday, we crushed it. Like, trading is just about rinsing and repeating often, right? And it's you find levels that you like. This trade could still go against. And you know what? Now that you're mentioning that, let me just put a bid here at 13s. There it is. We'll cover a little bit more there. So, again, we have about 40% left of this. We just took another 5% out. But yesterday, we hit this yesterday, we hit 101. And it was a level that we really liked. We were short all the way up to it. It held and it tanked. So here today, it's kind of the same thing, man. I'd like to get some more shares if we can get it right there. But there it goes. So what's my obsession with shorting AMD, Neil? I mean, we just talked about it. It's a winning trade. We like to put on winning trades around here. So that's what I'm obsessed with. I mean, look, we're going to have Kevin on in a couple minutes, I think, anyways, at 10 o'clock. And he always says, too, like, you got to do stuff that you love. And I love trading. And I love sitting here, being with you guys every single day. I love talking about trading. I love putting on trades. I like putting on losing trades and seeing what happens. Like, it's about putting on trades, seeing if your theories are going to work. Is it a winner? Is it a loser? Where are we today with all of these trades? Like, we put on AMD here. It's a big winner, right? We put on Palantir early. It was $1.30 in the money. We tried the short again. We got stopped out. Like, to me, I'm having a great time. I love sitting here trading with everybody. Yesterday, Intel's trade was a monster, man. We shorted all the way up here at 21 again. As we had written it down, we'd done our homework. We shorted 21, and then boom. It was a great trade back into the short side again. So we'll try to rinse and repeat that, and we've done that right there, right? So we're going to go 2 for 3. We're going to be green. And again, most of it is BigBear.ai pending, right? If this one tanks, then we're going to have to get out, and that'll turn our day red. But again, there's another trade. Out right there, falls right back in. Let's wait to see if we can get going. We only got out of 10% there, so this name could be a losing trade. And again, not something normally that I'd be in, but on earnings, on a short float of 20+%, I like the opportunity. I don't know if I like the stock at these levels, but we'll see. Uber today, kind of bucking the trend a little bit, up almost 3x what the market's up right now. Compare more Uber maybe to the ES up 0.4. There it goes, back up to the upside. Uber's been barcoding right now. I think if you scan this barcode, maybe you get a free ride. But for right now, up through 77, through 78. You could try it. I'm not sure. I don't think it will work. But up there to 82. And if it doesn't work, tell them that I sent you. There's 82 right there. That's going to be a good break spot for us on Saint Hubert's.
Absolutely love St. Hubert's. If you're not Canadian, you're not going to know it. They have the best chickens, the best sauce in Canada, but they're only in Quebec. Intel just came right back into 21. Lower high now on Intel. Look at that. That's a good pattern. We like that when you see a lower high. So we're able to grab it, I think exactly, it was actually on 21. So one more bid in front of 85, and then we let this one, underneath 85, I should say, and then we'll let this one fly. So it's heading back into the downside. Tesla just broke VWAP. Rigetti's still not doing much on that dip. It's kind of nothing like yesterday's initial dip, where it came all the way down into VWAP at 880. So I want to be very interested in VWAP if it can bounce.
Oh boy.
And then the other thing I'm doing, and you'll do you. Like, this is actually, you don't usually see this, but Walgreens is following VWAP right now. So I'm just going to follow VWAP on this stock, scalping it out. It's done 38 million shares. It'll do over 100 million shares worth of volume today. So it's going to be a churnable stock. And if you're going to follow the volume weighted average price, if it breaks, it can get out and then wait for the low 11.25s. But you're playing this for like 2 to 5 to 10 cent moves, and then try to respect the fact that it's not going to go, it's up 7%. It's not going another 7% up unless it squeezes. But right now the shorts are working, going to let them work until we get Rigetti at VWAP, because that's the parabolic mover I'm watching today.
All right, good look there. Okay, here it is again, man. Look, man, what's up with this dude's obsession with shorting Intel and AMD? Like, I don't understand what this guy's up to. But what we're up to is this. There it goes. It's a nice move down. And by the way, Joe, what's that club that, we kind of like to go to every once in a while around here? Remember what it's called? Correct, it's your dollar club. And there goes AMD. Thanks, Joe, for that one. This man's always dressed as if he's going to a club. But there it comes. It's a nice move down there for AMD. It's only $1 if you take it, though. So I'm going to punch out there for 90 cents, up to 67. We did miss that. We should have been on the bid. It comes right into the low of the day. So there it is, man. AMD with the downside push. So really glad with that one. As I said, it's going to be hopefully a decent day around here. But there it goes. So we get out at 63 actually, we wind up taking. And now we're sitting down here. I'm going to put another bid at 98.40s. Again, if you put the bids out there, that's the only way you get filled. So we'll do that. We'll put another one down at 98.40. So look, man, it sucks because I don't want to be short. But what this market is giving us, it's giving us short plays today. We talked about the job number that came out there at 8:30. It rallied right back into that level. We should have shorted the TQs. We should have shorted the Nasdaq right there, but we didn't. Look at that drop right back in again, falls right into our lap, right back into the 50-period moving average. So if you sort of closed your eyes and ignored the jobs number and ignored the open on the Nasdaq.
Trade with your eyes open.
You're right. Always trade with your eyes open, but you could try otherwise. As long as you know where your keys are, I think you'll be okay. But there it is. We just came right back to flat, right? This was where we were before the number. This is where we are right now. So to take advantage of moves like this, I think that's probably the right thing to do. And Neil, man, this is what we did again right there. Let's props it up. Out near VWAP again on Intel. So, I mean, you know, things are working out for us. We just got to wait for BigBear.ai to get going there, and then we'll figure it out. I want a big shout out, man. I know it's, $2.79. We'll go get a large coffee at Tim's there, but he loves watching us. So thank you, Christopher Mulligan. Loves watching us in the AM. And I mean, look, we're having fun every day, and that's what I said. I really. Like, my father worked extremely hard, and I'm not sure actually he loved his job or not. I think we work really hard, but I really love being here every single day and doing this, showing you guys some trading. It's why the sticky note, there's literally 1,000 of these. I've been putting out these notes since day one over there on Twitter, giving it to you. It's now up on Instagram with some of these trade ideas. So I really love sitting here every day. And like when the casino's open, man, we kick that door open, we put on risk management, and we start to have a little bit of fun. So today, we trade this little name. We trade some Palantir today. We trade some AMD and some Intel. So I don't know, man. I know you've been on Tesla there as well, so that could be a good little trade. Let me just check it out before I'll throw it back to Neil. So here's Tesla. Look at that, man. A barcoded level up there at 266 as well. Like tariff talk, you never know what this market's going to bring you. And I think that that's just something that, we got to embrace every single day. The trades could turn on ahead, or you could have these just monster winners. Look at your WBA today. Look at some of those names. Now you're into Rigetti, right? Quantum computing names. Some of the energy plays we
Rigetti just broke the high of the day, by the way.
Like Rigetti didn't have a great report. It went down to $7. Now we're at $9 and going higher. So
I actually didn't read the report on
great
Rigetti.
trade.
So
Intel reloaded.
I have no idea. Yeah, I just reloaded in Intel as well. I didn't read the report on Rigetti. For certain stocks, it's like they don't make money anyways, and the quantum thing is it's a momentum play. All I care about is, does it do a squeeze setup? And if it does a squeeze setup, I want to trade it to the long side. So it's doing one now. Come to my chart for a quick second, Ramin. Boom. So there's your higher low. It did one pullback, did the wick bottom, and goes right into 950. So I want to be out in front of 950, and I want to buy the next available dip. The other thing is, this is what it did yesterday. Like, it pulled bottoming tail wick into VWAP, and then it failed the prior high and dipped again. So if it fails the prior high and dips again, then I want to jump out. And, I did it. I just keystroked on Walgreens.
All right, you can come over here quickly.
because we are getting out of everything. Anyways.
We're going to go to Mr. Wonderful in just a minute. Hopefully this market can turn out to be a wonderful one today. We are short right there, Intel. We're short against 2120. It is pulling back. This is our average price right now, just when Brendan's talking to Kevin. I do have some bids here in the mid-90s, so that's what we're going to be covering this one. All right, we've been talking about it for a minute. We're really excited, man. He's a good friend of the show. He's been here maybe a dozen times or so. And we really want to thank him for, again, taking time out of his day to spend here with all of us at Trader TV Live. So a lot of love for our next individual. Let's go over to the desk and see who it is. I mean, we've only been talking about it.
He's back once again. Mr. Wonderful back on Trader TV. It's been a few months. Kevin O'Leary. A lot to discuss. Let's be honest. Let's jump right into a few things that are top of mind, I think, for most people watching. It's been a long time since I've had a conversation that hasn't been around tariffs or somewhat tariff related. Give us your high level opinion here. It seems to be changing by the hour.
Well, I think, as I said when we started having this narrative, you have to distinguish the difference between the Trump noise and the Trump signal. Tariffs for Trump are a negotiating tool, a leverage tool, and it's becoming very clear. Here's the facts we know since we last talked. Number one, the relationship between Justin Trudeau and Donald Trump is now toxic and non-functional. And so Trudeau is going to be gone soon. That's important and very important for the relationship between the Canadian and U.S. economy. The premiers have taken on the role of chief negotiators in Washington, D.C., along with their staff by the hour. And they're doing a pretty good job, given that there's no federal leadership right now. And obviously, by the hour, these things are changing. We've gone back to NAFTA 2 products and services, which represent about 38% of the actual dollars, are now not going to be tariffed until April 2nd. But that could change by the hour as well. The key here is, and this is going to be very important, when we get through the federal election, because the Canadians are at a huge disadvantage. we don't have a federal government to negotiate with the counterparts in Washington, D.C. And that would be Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary, Doug Burgum, the Energy Czar, who are advocates for some kind of an economic union. Now, what is not being discussed and never was on the table that caused a lot of angst in Canadian press was the idea that we were selling the country. No one's talking about that. What people are talking about is some kind of an economic union that would create a behemoth economy to compete against the Chinese. And that is on the table. Obviously, the way it's being done is it's in the open. It's like sausage being made. You may not like it. You may not like Trump. But you should not get caught up in the noise when the signal is the opportunity. And so I think that still remains on the table. Accolades to Danielle Smith, the only premier who had the guts to go to Mar-a-Lago prior to the inauguration. And she came out a winner. She's only got a 10% tariff to bring down to zero. The rest were fighting with Trump in the press, and they're sitting with 25. So let's understand, it's better to know your adversary, get close to your adversary, get your adversary's cell phone number so you can negotiate directly. And I applaud her for that, given the heat she's taken in Canada. But everything I'm talking about with you now could change by the hour. I'm down in Austin, obviously South by Southwest. Yesterday, I was in Washington, D.C. at the American Dream Conference, which the tariffs were completely dissected there. And Senator Haggerty also hosted a dinner last night in D.C. about the direction of crypto. So lots to talk about today with you.
Yeah, and I want to get to that, the crypto summit happening later today at the White House. But what's the best case scenario, going back to the tariff talk, in your mind? What's the best outcome that we can expect here? I mean, we heard the premier of this province, Ontario, where we are, talking about, possibly tariffing hydro going from Ontario into the U.S. as of Monday. What's the best case scenario here as far as you're concerned?
I think the best case scenario is we get to a place where there are no tariffs. And here's the problem. What we as Canadians have forgotten is we tariff, let me give you some examples. Dairy coming out of Vermont at 248% into Quebec. The Vermont farmers are pissed. They want a reciprocal tariff on dairy coming out of Canada. So what we should do is start negotiating reciprocal tariffs as opposed to just blanket 25%. And if we're willing to protect the dairy industry by $5 billion coming out of Alberta each year, to give dairy farmers free money so they can pour their cheese down the drain, which is what we do, well, then we can remain stupid. But this has to get all cleaned up. And it's not just the tariffs with the U.S. that we have to clean up. We're going to have to remove $200 billion worth of tariffs between the provinces. We're getting a reset with the United States as the #1 consumer market on earth. But why don't we reset our Canadian economy as well? Why are we doing this to ourselves? You may not like Trump, and believe me, I get an earful about it all the time. But while we're at it, while we're negotiating tariffs and looking at economic opportunity, why don't we take care of our own problems in Canada at the same time? Now, is it a good idea to turn New York dark? I don't think so. That's not probably a good idea. And I think Ford is a pretty smart guy, and he will, like Trump, find the last-minute solution to this to keep the narrative going, keep the conversation going. We have yet to be blanketed across the board at 25%. We got to keep negotiating without a prime minister. We cannot let Trudeau go near Washington or Freeland. Trump has made it clear he does not respect them, and we cannot use them as the leverage. We need new leadership in Canada. Let's get moving here. Let's get moving. Let's get the election, because the opportunity is immense. So, I mean, listen, I deal with this every day down here, and I deal with it up in Canada. We're in a really interesting place. But through all this chaos is tremendous opportunity.
Time is ticking. Speaking of negotiation, I want to get your take real quick on the TikTok situation, then we'll touch on crypto as well. April 5th, approaching very quickly here, the next pseudo deadline. Trump this week saying that he would have no problem pushing that out once again. What's the latest you're hearing as far as TikTok is concerned?
Yeah, TikTok was the talk of the town in Washington last night also. So what's likely to happen, and this is pure speculation on my part, but I've been pretty close to the situation now for 5 months. I expect an additional extension, whether it's 75 or 90 days. No one's going to take Trump up on that, even though there's no provision in the law. The first extension wasn't provided for either. But people understand these deals take time. Then the ball goes back to Xi. Here's the question. Does Xi want to sell what's called a forked version of the code? Now, he has said multiple times he does not want to share the algorithm that makes TikTok so powerful with any foreign entity, including the U.S. However, to get a TikTok deal done, they're going to have to do that, fork the code and allow the U.S. company, which Xi could own up to 24.9% of, because that's likely to be used the same way media companies in the U.S. can be owned by foreign ownership up to 25%, so just slightly under. And would the interpretation of the law allow for fork the code with the idea that the buyer would have to clean up the code, remove the spyware, and make sure that any packets of information do not get transferred to Chinese servers, or that Chinese can influence the algorithms in terms of day-to-day content. All that has to be negotiated. In that case, it's highly likely that there will be a TikTok US, in the case that Xi wants to do that. In the case that he refuses to sell the algorithm, the buyer then must start from scratch. And that becomes trickier, but obviously we've been anticipating that in the Cord O'Leary deal since the beginning of time. We can work both ways. So the point is, if it comes with the algorithm, there's still some attributes that people want, ownership of data, which is provided for in the Project Liberty technology that we're building out. But all of this is in flux. All of it. It's all in flux. And so it's really about what Trump and Xi want to do next. And we'll find that out soon enough. Maybe before April 5th. If not, I anticipate an extension.
All right, big day, potentially a big day here for crypto markets coming up at the White House. I mean, what do we expect to come of this? Is there anything you're hearing as far as more detail than we got earlier in the week? We had that huge move down in crypto markets coming out of the weekend on the initial announcement.
Yeah, this is going to be fantastic for WonderFi. You know that I am an investor in WonderFi. So here's what's happening as we speak as of last night. Gildebrand and Haggerty are both offering bills in a parallel basis right now. One is called the Genius Act and the other is the Stablecoin Act, but they do the same thing. It's highly anticipated in the next few days that they will merge authorship to the first crypto bill. And this will make digital payment systems and stablecoins law in the United States. And so you can now issue a token against the US dollar that would be approved by regulators. USDC is going to be one of them, but there will probably be others. And so it will require some form of audit, so Tether will have a hard time. You have to be transparent on the balance sheet and what's backing up the token one-to-one to the US dollar. And currently, these bills both say you can have treasury bills less than 92 days in duration. So we'll see how that works. So that's step one. Now, why that's so interesting for the next step, because it's going to be stablecoins first. That bill gets done. Then they go to tokenization. Tokenization is fantastic for WonderFi because WonderFi has already proven the amount of volume increases dramatically when new tokens come to market. Even with the Trump meme, it increased volumes 100%. And active users up 75%. And then WonderFi announced the Wonder Wallet. And coming soon, a blockchain product as well. So expanding the product line for one singular reason. People, as they're seeing these bills go through Congress, know that Ontario OSC and legislation in Canada will follow. So that if you want to hold an alternative asset class, just say Bitcoin itself, where are you going to get price discovery? Well, who's number one in Canada now through consolidation? WonderFi. If a bank wants to hold you some Bitcoin in your account and not have it leave the bank's AUM or balance sheet, where they get price discovery? WonderFi. So my thesis, and again, it's my personal investment thesis, is this needs to be owned if you want to have the blockchain equivalent of picks and shovels for the Canadian market on crypto, because these bills are coming fast. All of them, very, very fast. Got a new sheriff in town taking over both the commoditization, commodity side, and security side in the U.S. All the legislation and litigation against the exchanges are being dropped by the new SEC. So we're getting to a place now where you want to ride each pony. First, stablecoins. Second, tokenization. Then an overall bill on crypto itself to try and encourage people to bring more of the development back to North America. Now, the meeting today, which was really foreshadowed last night at the Haggerty dinner, so the meeting before the meeting, I attended that. It was extraordinary to see all these policymakers and their staffers in one room. Basically, it's going to be about setting up, well, you could call a reserve fund. But what we learned later in the evening, it's just the 17 billion cryptocurrencies, primarily Bitcoin, that have already been seized by federal agents in the U.S. They're going to remain on the balance sheet of the Treasury. And so the market was a little disappointed with that, but they shouldn't be, because really what this means is a motion forward on regulation. Now, if you're a Canadian and you want to participate in this, well, I think WonderFi is the gold standard now in Canada. That was my investment thesis, and I'm definitely talking my book when I talk about WonderFi. But I'm so happy I hung in there. I mean, they're in a fantastic situation right now.
Well, Kevin, thank you. And look, you're talking to a couple of crypto lovers as well, so we're always happy.
I'm buying the dip.
Well, I bought 86 and change. That was an interesting number. I actually want to, can I switch gears for a quick little second? Because I think when you were talking previously about tariffs and sort of the overall situation with the new administration, there's a little bit of a needle being threaded. I think, you know, when you have some austerity going on, you're trying to balance some budgets. You also are getting involved in trying to get the trade deficit down, and so, you know, depending on what the Fed does too, there is that risk that you could end up in a bit of a recession. Now, I'm looking at energy as a good buying spot, and it feels like it's been in a good spot. But then on the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, if they thread this and there's a small recession that comes in, do you have to worry about timing that as well? What are your thoughts on, you know, what we could see in the back half of the year as this all unfolds? Because there's a lot of uncertainty, I think, for a lot of people, and it's been a very shakeout market, and people are tepid to get in.
Yeah, I'm more in the optimistic side, because the underlying economy is in pretty good shape, and really what this whole negotiation about, and people obviously in Canada are focused on the Canadian situation, but Trump is resetting the tariff schedules worldwide. And the real basic goal is to get reciprocal tariffs. So, you know, in the beginning in World War II, a lot of these tariffs were considered subsidies for countries that were rebuilding out of the war in Europe, and we never took them off. In the case of India, for example, they're tariffing some technologies 132%. So if all that's being put on the table at the end of the day is reciprocal tariffs, everybody's got to get their, their shop in order, including us in Canada, because we can't sustain 30% tariffs on various commodities, consumer commodities. After all, we do have a VAT tax, which is considered by Treasury here in the U.S. as a form of tariff as well. So the balancing act has to come through negotiation. I think where this is going is an acceleration of NAFTA 3, but it won't be negotiated by Freeland, which, as I mentioned earlier, she has a toxic relationship with Trump. The thing about Trump is, if you throw personal attacks at him, doesn't go well. Doesn't work for you. It doesn't help you negotiate. Better to stay on policy. I think Zelensky learned that lesson last Friday at the White House, and now he's figuring out that's not the right way to go. And he still wants to do a deal. Keep the personalities out of it, because that's the kind of president he is, and everybody should be able to read the room on that one now. So for us as Canadians, I'd say, look, we're in a really, of all the people out there that are going to deal with this, all the countries, we're in the best place. Just take potash. We're it for North American potash. We're it. We're the only guys in town on potash. So the likelihood that that's going to have a 25% tariff ain't going to happen, because you can't starve American farmers of the only guy in town with the potash. That's the fertilizer that grows the grain that feeds the people. So it's all of these little negotiating tools. At the end of the day, though, we're going to have to drop tariffs against American products and services. And I'd argue that's bullish for the economy. That's a reason to go long. All we need is leadership. So let's get this liberal thing done, whoever it's going to be. Let's get the election called and let the games begin. And then let's get down to Washington with our new Canadian leadership and let's cut a deal.
Kevin, thanks for coming on again. Sean here. Look, I think you nailed it with all this stuff. Let's, maybe keep Trudeau away from the White House for now. Let's get this new leadership going. But this is not a fentanyl problem, right? Like, why do I hear this crossing the border? That's just, I mean, you're in Washington, you're talking all about this. That's just a tactic that he's using. Like, we can't control the border as far as fentanyl is concerned. That's coming up from Mexico, right? So is he just talking like that just to sort of get us a little riled up here as a negotiation tactic? Great point there about the dairy farmers. I think there's much bigger problems that maybe we're not addressing. And when we do get that new government, how friendly do you think the current administration in the U.S. will be with, as it looks like right now, polling a conservative government here in Canada?
Well, I'm hoping for a majority mandate conservative government because that gives the leader there, Pierre, assuming Pierre, the same mandate Trump has, a 4-year majority mandate. And Trump has a majority mandate guaranteed for the next 2 years, during which we'll be negotiating. I consider him to be adequate to do the job. In fact, pretty good at it. He understands what's on the table, not just for the American discussion, but I've listened to what he's been saying about tariffs, interprovincial tariffs. He wants to lift those too. He wants to open up the Canadian economy, diversify who we actually ship our goods and services to. But he also understands the economic opportunity. I mean, there's so many things that could be done to create the behemoth economy without selling sovereignty. So Pierre's the right guy to negotiate that with his cabinet. And I'm looking forward to doing anything I can to help that narrative, because I've certainly spent enough time in Mar-a-Lago, taking a lot of abuse for it up in Canada too. But I think I've done the right thing in keeping the narrative open. And it's important. And to meet all these lawmakers here, I feel in a unique situation. I'm a Canadian, a proud one, but my family's American. And so I can straddle both sides of the border as an investor and be in the narrative politically. I think that's important. And so I think we're going to come out of this whole mess in a great place. People just have to hold on and cool it on the rhetoric. It's just let the politicians do their thing. Now, before we go, because we have to do this.
Okay, here we go.
What are you wearing? All right. I want to showcase a couple of pieces that are just absolutely insane here.
There we go.
This is called the Chanel Boyfriend. It's the only one in the world.
We get.
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's a crazy, crazy dial, and I wanted to bring it down here to South by Southwest for the panel because everybody here has watched Crazy. But now I'm into piece uniques. I want to walk around with the only piece in the world. That's Crazy Chicken. That's what I got here.
So do you also walk around with like huge bodyguards or what? Like, this is pretty unique stuff that you're talking about.
You're right. I have security today because this piece is going right back in the safe. I mean, it was bought for charity in an auction in New York in December, and it took me a while to get the Chanel to put the red band on it. But the guy that was bidding against me was a Singapore, and that guy would not stop. He would not stop. But you cannot mess with the primal forces of Mr. Wonderful when I want to watch.
Right. That's right. You know what, Kevin? I've been going to, the gym throughout the day, and I've been swimming and everything like that. So my bias, and unfortunately I have nothing fancy for you, I'm still with the Apple Watch today. I like that it tracks all my stuff, but that's just a lazy answer. I still got the Breitlings, and that's kind of my watch of choice there.
I can't go away from it. I told the story before. The very first watch I bought when I got a good check trading was the Tag.
I remember that. But listen, guys, it's okay to wear an Apple Watch when you're working out. But if you leave it on after you're working out, you lose your soul and you go to hell.
The credibility. So we don't like Apple stock or anything here? You know what, Kevin?
You cannot wear an Apple Watch on your wrist when you're being a fashionista. That's forbidden.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm not. Yeah. I mean, you're more. We're not really fashionista.
Well, I don't wear an Apple Watch, so I'm not going to say.
I've got my daughter made me like a Taylor Swift friendship bracelet, so I mean, I'm wearing that.
You don't know, the rules could change. Do you really want to go to hell because you happen to have your Apple Watch? Do not do that. Only when you're working out, it's permitted.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the going to hell might be a little harsh on that one. But listen, Mr. Wonderful, thank you so much for your time. We always have a great time here. I promise you we'll wear something a little more special for you next time. But you have to promise us.
Bring me on. Bring some pieces. You got to wear some watches.
Yep.
I'm next for a wrist twist every time I show up.
Okay, Kevin, then on that note,
show up here.
Then we're going to have to book a date. So let's get that. We need to get you back on. How about we'll talk about maybe, what is it, March now, maybe early summer?
Let's get Nancy to book it, but I want everybody watching to actually rate the watches. Let's see who wins.
Done.
Let's do it.
Done. Let's see who wins. Oh, come on. No, hold on a second.
First of all, that's not a fair battle.
No, it's not who wins, okay? Because we're pretty sure you might
All I want
win.
to do with you guys is crush you like the cockroaches you are. That's
What?
Oh, come on now. No, whoa, hold on a second
okay,
now.
there's the fail right
We've
there.
been nice to this point.
Cockroaches.
Okay.
Need for negotiating NAFTA right now. That's how it starts.
Well played, sir.
Okay,
Well played.
Well played. I like that. Well, I mean, I would, like to say thank you to Kevin O'Leary, but thank you again. A Shark Tank.
By the way, we used to have Shark Tank at our old trading floor. When the market would slow down in the middle of the day, we would watch Shark Tank, and the whole trading floor was all over. We loved that. We love that show. It's,
me and my kids watch it the other day.
It's great. My daughter loves it. It's a great show. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it's all about entrepreneurship, and we're starting right now this week to start shooting season 17.
Perfect, Kevin. I have a great idea for you. There's this show. It's the greatest trading show in the world. They have over 500,000 subscribers, and maybe they're possibly looking to go public. So if there's any room on Shark Tank, I have a company for you that we can come there and pitch.
Don't quit your day job. That's all I can say.
Yeah. I don't. All right, this interview's not going the way I'd hope it would be, but no, thank you so much, Kevin. We have
always a blast.
Great amount of time. Thank you, Mr. Wonderful Kevin O'Leary. Go kill it at South by Southwest and say hi to Nancy for us.
Thanks, Kevin.
Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Ciao. Well, I'm going to hit the O Canada now because
of course. We're all proud Canadians.
We talked about that. We're all proud Canadians, of course. But hey, look, I mean, that's part of what it is, right? I mean, there's a lot of rhetoric. I think he nailed it with that word. There's a lot of back and forth. There's negotiation tactics right there. It is kind of like when you go on Shark Tank and the girl wants $100,000 and this guy offers $25,000. It's all about doing stuff like that. So
and everyone has their own negotiation style. We're in fantasy football leagues. There's the one guy who only ever lowballs. There's the one guy who won't make an offer. He'll make sure that you make the first offer, and you've got to understand their patterns. So one thing I want to go back to the market here. The market's rolling back over. Here's a reason why this move feels fugazi to the upside, to steal a word from Sean, because that's Italian. Broadcom is at low of day. Broadcom, which was gapped up at one point, up 17, I think, % after market, at the highs, has been just trending down. Like, you can't tell me that we're supposed to hold this move if the name that was supposed to be the savior with that big up move is dragging us up. So the whole time we were trending up, Broadcom was trending down. So the only thing I'm upset with is I only am in Intel. By the way, I did get wicked out of Intel. The difference was I was patient enough to get shorts only at or above the target zone, unlike yesterday. And I got right back in when it wicked the high. So we're at VWAP. We've been unable to break VWAP. We want this to break down. I think the next stop is in the 60s, and then you could get even further to set downsides. I'm not reloading Rigetti yet because I want to see it. If this is the parabolic bounce back, I want to see it do some kind of a hold of VWAP because it was after the parabolic move. It was small wins off of VWAP and not much else there. So, still watching the stock. It could do a bit of a turn. If this market takes out the low, I wouldn't suspect Rigetti's going to hold on forever. So still just in Intel. We've been taking our shots, and so far so good. Can't really complain about it. But just be careful about Broadcom. That loses the bid again, and it could get pretty nasty here.
No, man. I mean, there's definitely no complaining about Intel. Intel will be the P&L number one here today as it's rocking, man. I mean, you're right at the lows right now for Intel. But you know what? I don't understand why this guy's obsessed with trading Intel all the time. But we are, and there it is. Nice move to the downside. A big stock yesterday, a big stock today. INTC. I still can't believe I'm going to hell for this Apple Watch thing. I mean, I could have easily worn the Rolex.
You knew he was going to say it because it happened last time.
Yeah,
so we both know.
I've got a plan for next time.
Oh, I know that.
This man is coming.
We have a plan.
There
is a plan.
He's going to be in a big problem when he sees what's going to be happening over here next time. And you know what? That's the thing. I made sure. See my negotiation tactic. I said early summer. He's coming back on. Get that guarantee in there, right? So we'll kick him off the show like Trump kicked out Zelensky, but we'll invite him back. We'll invite him back. We've got negotiation tactics of our own as well. But right now, here it is. It's a downside move for Intel. And oh boy, Neil, we put on some big boy pants on this one, and there it goes to the downside. It's Intel right now. And yeah, it's a big move, man. We reloaded that thing. Someone asked me during the interview there, they're like, are you still trading? I'm like, yeah. So there's more shorts coming in there. 2120s and bang to the downside there for Intel. We're still in that dollar club right now. What's up, Ozan? right there, because we've got $1 as well on AMD. And my BigBear.ai is just kind of hanging out. So, yeah, we'll wait to see what winds up happening there. But so far, so good. Are we going to Adara? Was that a call for her at some point?
I thought I heard something. By the way, Netflix is getting rocked right now.
Yeah, what's up with that? It was down 8%
Dude,
yesterday.
it's down 3% today. It did not participate at all in the early bounce. Look, well, I'm only in Intel, and you just saw where it
just came in.
So I just got the fill. I just got the fill in the 60s that we were talking about on Intel.
Wow, what a market.
But this is, and Netflix wants a 200 period. Netflix wants 825. This market is absolutely bleeding. Broadcom just lost a bid. Wow, Nvidia is now smoked down through 110. This is a bit of a bleed. We're going to go to Adara with crypto, but this is a bit of a parabolic candle. So when this happens, want to make sure we get it out near the bottom of this candle. But let's go up to Adara for the crypto update. Yes, that's right.
I'm not seeing any news on the market, just to talk about that for a moment here, but it is worth noting we did have a drop below that key 487 level of support on the Nasdaq. Here is Bitcoin. Again, we kind of have this drop now, some higher highs and so higher lows, lower highs here on BTC. So a bit of a triangular formulation there for Bitcoin on the daily chart. I did read something here about the crypto event here. Punchbowl reporting that the White House is not expecting any announcements around tax policy at the crypto summit. That is per apparently a senior White House official who is anonymous. So we're not expecting any tax policy related announcements here at this crypto event. But this crypto event is certainly going to be on watch. We're expecting this to start 1:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens at this event. Expected attendees include Vlad Tenev of Robinhood, Michael Saylor of Strategy, formerly MicroStrategy. We're also expecting here Brian Armstrong. We're expecting some individuals as well. We have the Winklevoss twins, so lots of crypto-related attendees. You can check out a graphic on X at TTV Research, basically a who's who of who's certainly expected to attend. Also, Cardano and Solana founders, as well as Kathy Woods, are both listed as maybes, so we're not sure if they're going to be coming, but they could also potentially be attending as well. We're going to have to wait and see what Bitcoin does here, but certainly keep it on watch. Should be a pretty volatile one. Also volatile and on watch, President Donald Trump here set to speak at 11 a.m. Eastern, so keep an eye on the market. That's what I mean by volatility there, because we do not know what these comments are going to be about. The White House has not provided a theme, and we know his comments can and often do move these markets, guys. Back to you.
So much for that one. Again, I mean, we're long NVIDIA. This came right into our spot. I mean, it's a sticky note trade, 109 to 110. So it's right here, right now. We're going to try it, man. AMD, bang. Intel, bang. BBAI. We're coming down to $3. I mean, well, I'm not, the damage that we're doing right here, like this Intel trade is absolutely monstrous. Right here. This is a big trade. Like we are way green today. It's just been a great trading opportunity all day, man. And we talked about favoring the short. I mean, it's on the sticky note. It was all day today. The very first note on the sticky note, very first mark on the sticky note, was shorting the TQQs. It did get there, but again, like on the number, we didn't take it. We should have looked at it there. But, I mean, there it goes to the downside, man. We are still falling. There's $1.30 now on this name. But more impressive, in my opinion, is this Intel trade because this name, again, loading up the shares. Like we have utmost confidence. We talked about this yesterday, Neil. Like, we're getting so much better now at trading, and it's just like, the growth that I've seen in my own account and everything has been huge, and we're really taking advantage of that, right? I mean, you got to be confident in what you're doing, and we are definitely that, and we're even getting maybe even overconfident. So it's been a good little run here, so let's just keep it going. NVIDIA could fall down on, again, through that 109. If it does, we're out.
Nasdaq broke 20,000. Psychological level on the Nasdaq
problem.
At the 20,000 even there. So, what I'm actually the most happy about with Intel is I actually stuck to the plan, was able to get wicked out at the high because I still, if it runs the high, I want to follow my rule, but got back in. That's the difference. There was never a chance. It couldn't have been a headshot, but then it could have been a miss if I didn't stay on that stock. If I had been trading something else, which often happens, I wouldn't have gotten right back in on that wick top. Like if I had been on like Rigetti, let's just say, in that moment, by the way, Rigetti lost VWAP, so no entry. Like it bounces, does yesterday's pattern, we take the bounce, don't have to be in it again. Why? Does it look good? No, it doesn't look good in here at V1, so we can stay away from that thing. So I'm not going to take any shots on that. The only other thing I'm looking at right now is going to be on the backside of Broadcom here. I want to see Broadcom make a turn before I'm going to take any shots on anything. I'd rather just bank the day. Don't have any LFT right now. Don't want to create any. Broadcom continues to fall. I think it could get to 180 here. And if it does a curl, that's when I want to start to look for some reversions long, or maybe one of those dead cat bounces.
There it was, man. I mean, we just take advantage of that pop-up for NVIDIA. Like, it just went there. So good advantage of that, man. We were long, I think it was 94. Well, whatever. We took O's, we took 15s, and we took 75s. So we're going to wait. Okay, U.S. likely to ban DeepSeek from U.S. devices.
I mean,
which...
Is that shocking news?
I think it's a little shocking, yeah, because, I mean, the U.S., the thing is like, you know, all U.S. technology is also banned in China. Not all U.S. technology, but you can't watch YouTube. You can't, you know, I don't think you can log into Gemini or anything over there. So right now, U.S. are discussing it right there. But hey, man, we're on cloud 9 again today, man. Like Neil's talking about keeping profits. We're up here again. We're almost at our one-day goal. So I know it took a minute there. We had Kevin on, and some of these trades just haven't been blowing up yet. I mean, Intel's doing great, and so now is NVIDIA. But it's more this NVIDIA trade that's taking me to the next level right now. So, all right, let's go over and see what Adair is all about.
We are going to talk here about the fact that we have this comments coming through on CNBC. This is with Peter Navarro. This is the Trump's trade advisor. This interview currently over, but just at the end of the interview a couple minutes ago, Peter Navarro said that these reciprocal tariffs are going to be focusing on one tariff rate for each country to reflect tariff and non-tariff measures. So when we get reciprocal tariffs on April 2nd, 2025, which, just to recap, that is going to be when everything that Trump wants a tariff, that's when it's expected to come in. Regardless, apparently these reciprocal tariffs are going to have one tariff rate per country, and that will end up reflecting measures from tariffs and also from other non-tariff measures, guys. That's the deal right now coming from Peter Navarro here, Trump trade advisor. Also, Donald Trump himself set or expected to speak here 11 a.m. The topic was not provided by the White House. Back to you.
Oh, I hate to be the person that has to figure all that out with one tariff rate when you're doing reciprocal tariffs. That is incredibly complex. For sure. That seems crazy.
McDonald's all-time high.
McDonald's all-time highs. There's always there's a bull market somewhere. It happens to be McDonald's. Actually, look, I was
in my account.
I was going to talk about IBIT next because IBIT did get to our $50 level right where it was yesterday. So looking for the reversion on Bitcoin. Broadcom just made a bit of a bottom as well, and I said I don't want any longs until Broadcom made the low. That just happened here. So there's Broadcom breaking the low of the day. The 50 level came in there on IBIT, which, you know, at the time we were trading this morning, didn't think necessarily you're going to get there. But now that we've made the reversion, we're back into it. Give it to the low of the day and see where this one is going to take us. But that Broadcom, wow, only 2% up now. As quickly as it goes up.
I mean, you want to talk about something getting bullish right now, man. I mean, John Travolta is like, what exactly are we even doing here? Look at this AMD trade. I mean, this is now $1.70 now in the money to the downside. I mean, we might as well take some more profit over here. Like, you know, we have these trades, guys. I have these trades, I should say. Neil's right now with IBIT and Intel. But, I mean, again, like, I have to start to cover. We're at the 200 period moving average. We have a lot of covers down here. Intel is a monster trade today. I don't know how else to talk about it. You guys know the share sizes and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like that Intel trade at $21 was such an easy trade for me because we had nailed it yesterday and it did this exact play. And we are short. Short TQQ, short NVIDIA, short Palantir, well, we're long NVIDIA, short Palantir, short Mara, right? I mean, but right now, $88 coming in. Mara did go up to $15.50 there during that play. There's the short. We're waiting. We had posted long Mara down here at 14, never got there, but there's the play off of the short for crypto. I mean, you know, that's just, it's too bad that we have BigBear.ai on board. I'm still going to wait for $3. This one's not happening for us.
Is that at 3 yet?
But
I'm taking that at 3.
Go. Yeah, Neil's going to go long at 3. All right, so here comes NVIDIA pulling back in again. We got some great outs, man. We got 110.40 on NVIDIA. We're obviously up on the name, but it's going to be position pending. I mean, if it breaks lower than 109, then we're going to get out. Let's indeed just reload this a little bit. Like that DeepSeek news. So we're not, like, we have way more shares, obviously, now on NVIDIA than we do on AMD. But AMD, we've already taken advantage of this play. So right now, we're trying to find out what's the next play. You know, so we'll buy some dips here on NVIDIA. We're long at 80s. I mean, I could take out 5% if it gets back to O's again at 110, and then we'll just wait for a move higher. This is the play that we want. We've got some big boy shares over there, and we're just going to wait to see what winds up. Neil, like, every day, you know, let's just keep the momentum going higher right now. I don't know. I'm not sure if you're upping your share sizes in some of these plays or not, but the confidence that we've had over the last month and a half has sent us to the next level. And I want to thank everybody here. I want to thank Neil. I want to thank everybody, Joe, Sharif, Darren, all that, because, you know, we do this kind of for fun and just be like, yeah, you know, we're making money. But at the end of the day, this is from my kid. Happy Father's Day, I think it's 2020, because it's definitely not 2026. 2020 right there. So, you know, it just means a lot. Like I said, having a lot of fun coming in here today, every day, putting on risk, and just really having that ride. Like, look at this play on NVIDIA. You could see I'm just an active trader. Like, I'm getting in, getting out of these positions, spinning the money, taking phone calls on my own time, Warren. Not now, my guy. I know we've talked about this already. I'm not leaving anywhere. And just like Kevin said, don't quit your day job. So we're definitely not doing that anytime soon, and we're just having a lot of fun. Thank you for coming through, man, and just watching the growth of the trading definitely here. And I know yesterday was a rough day for some, but you know, every day, stick with what you're doing, man. Stick with it, and just keep on going, and good things will happen. So again, thanks to everybody. Thanks, Neil, for all the support as well as we grow this show and just get bigger and better and really become the trader that we're claiming to be, right?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, you got to follow rules as a trader, and I gotta look to get out of this trade on AVGO. Sorry, on Bitcoin. Because you're not breaking out of the range, so it's kind of working right now. But if I'm giving 15.15 to 50, that's risking 15 to 20 pennies. And Broadcom is threatening to range the high. Lucky, never mind. Looks like now it's looking a little bit better. So what I was going to tell you is, if Broadcom broke the low, I'm going to get out. And that's what it's about. And that's what it's about for me. So I've been doing this for a long time. You'll see me focus on decision-making processes more than anything else. And I'll tell you why. Because I'm up on Walgreens, and it's the single worst stock for me today. Because I had it, and I made a quote-unquote call that was dead on right, but I was aggressively getting out because I was trading P&L, as they say, when it was riding VWAP like this. And I said it might be able to squeeze, and it did squeeze. So for me, that was a missed opportunity. That said, want to quickly mention, I'm on the bid of this. If it actually gets under VWAP a little bit more, I could see this squeezing down into here, and then we can try to get a point the other way. But I'm going to stop long this at about the 34 on a break. I know we're going up to Adara. Let's go talk about Sector Watch.
It up. Let's do the hot dog cannon.
It's pretty actually red, of course, as the market is actually down about 1% right now. Worth noting, the Nasdaq down 10% from most recent all-time highs, which would put it in correction territory. But lots of strength to be found here in consumer non-durables, utilities here. Next year, energy leading the group to the upside. Energy minerals looking great as well. Health services looking pretty good. And communications having some bright spots. Health technology a little bit more mixed. Eli Lilly, sector leader to the downside. Consumer services mixed. McDonald's and Starbucks continuing to be pretty strong as some other names in this group falter. In terms of weakness, quite a lot of it, but commercial services notably weak. Retail trade here, Amazon down about 2%, but Costco on day one earnings, and Walmart and HD looking a lot more red. Finance pretty red as well. And let's talk here about electronic technology. Apple and Broadcom green here. Broadcom day one earnings. NVIDIA relatively flat, but GE, one of the names that's pretty red here. In terms of technology services, all three Mag 7s in the sector are red, and Netflix on a second day of aggressive selling. So lots to be aware of in this market. But it is worth noting, not everything is as red as it might appear. Back to you.
look, I'm not going to keep going on. I mean, I just said that thing and then we went right over discussing our trades. But like, there it goes on NVIDIA. Like, and again, like, it's just a huge trade. It's off our posted levels, I'm just going to show you the tweet, off our posted levels on the sticky note today. We wrote down, Neil, and I mean, again, I know Neil's working on processes. We're all working on our own processes. That is for damn sure. But you know what process has been absolutely on fire? And I just said to Joe, man, like, if we just even put in, like, the risk that we have, NVIDIA, 109 to 110. 109 to 110 long should be trusted here. Like, Neil, I mean, this is 10, and so we just tweeted that out. We attach the trade on here right now. Here it is right there. That's Intel, actually. There's the 109, 110 area. So we loaded that thing up. And not only that, we're not doing this undercover or anything like that. Like, Neil's explaining that he's making all the money on Walgreens. I'm showing you right here where the money's being made. This NVIDIA just came right in. It just rips right back up again. And, you know, this is starting to go again, right? So let's just wait for it. And again, just on, you know, some of these names, AMD, like, when it goes, man. To that downside, $98. Like, take some profit there. A great trade by Neil again on Intel. Like, as both of us trust these levels to the downside, right? And then, you know, just because I just heard Neil mentioning Walgreens there. Just shout out to Obi, who actually traded it the other way. He shorted this play back in right there. So, you know, there's so much opportunity in there. Whether or not it's like, I haven't even looked at IBIT. Glad Neil is. Like, there's another play like Bitcoin, energy you asked O'Leary about. Like, all of these things, you know. I try to look at some pink sheet stuff, which isn't moving, hasn't been giving me any profits basically the last 2 or 3 months. But we're just sitting here, we're looking at different names. BigBear.ai. I mean, you didn't get long there, but it does go right in.
No, it didn't get to 3.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Came close, you know, and look at this battle back. Like, so many different opportunities, so many different ways to, as they say, butter that bread. But, you know, as long as you're getting it in right there in this market is the only way to, you know, really enjoy it. You got to put your money where your mouth is. And right now, man, NVIDIA is just like levitating, man. Like, we just got 111s. Look at this stock. 111 13s. 111. Our quotes can't even keep up right now with what the hell is going on NVIDIA.
Something just happened.
This is a monster day, Neil. Monster day. What a week it's been, man. 10 minutes until close. Wow. This posted note on NVIDIA is an absolute monster, man. This is now $2 in the money. And yeah, Kevin, come back and roast me, man, any day, because like, you've brought in some great luck to your boys trading right here. That was an absolute monster move there. And we took advantage, like 1150 right there. Thank you, Mr. O'Leary. I mean, my glasses are right here. But.
Putin ready to agree to, nah, I can't hear it. There's some news on Putin. That's what the move just was. I just got a horrible trail out on Intel there. As it's not horrible, but this is where we had the trail at the prior low, and it just absolutely smoked up. That candle went 2% on Intel, and we're in that short, the last of that short. If it holds under VWAP, I can always get back into it. But apparently, we've got some news here at Dare. What is it?
So as was kind of alluded to here, breaking news. Apparently, Vladimir Putin of Russia is said to be ready to agree to the Ukraine truce with conditions. Again, this is not from him himself. He's said to be in agreement. So we have to wait to find out actually confirmation. It's just a report as of right now. But also here, let's talk about the economic numbers we had today, because we've heard of red weeks, but this is the DXY. This is 5 straight days of fairly aggressive selling for the US dollar this whole week. Unemployment rate came in this morning slightly higher than expected, 4.1% versus 4% expected. Non-farm payrolls, 151,000 versus 160,000 expected. Average earnings year over year down 4% versus 4.1% expected here. Average work week hours also a little bit lower than expected. Truthfully, the only number from this morning that was actually slightly above expectations was manufacturing payrolls. So lots of weakness here coming through numbers. As Brendan mentioned earlier, we're going to have a lot of speakers to be aware of. Donald Trump set to hit the podium at 11 a.m. And in terms of Fed speakers, Fed's Bowman and Fed's Williams have both already begun speaking. I haven't seen any comments from either, but Fed's Kugler coming through at 12:20, and then again at 1 p.m. Fed Chair Powell, though, that'll be the big speech, 12:30 p.m. today, speaking at an economic forum on the outlook. So that'll certainly be on watch. I will be giving you guys all that coverage, letting you guys know. And then, of course, at 1:30, we're going to be having the crypto event, guys. So lots to keep an eye on for this market. And for that dollar, back to you.
All right. Thanks, Adara. Yeah, so I know Neil sort of got wicked out there on Intel. That's what happens with the,
I slipped into
we always get that.
XLE here, breaking VWAP. It's just a VWAP play on XLE. And again, maybe, look, I like energy down here. I've been considering whether I want to add more myself in the long term. I have not done so. But this is a simple, if we're going to break trend here and I want to give it to 50s, I want to give it to 87.5. I don't want to give it to the high of the day. But if that headline that we just heard causes a trend break, well, why can't you at least get back to 86.6? Higher time frame here. The other thing about XLE, you're also at prior support on the daily, but I think you got a good level in here at that 87.5 for energy here. As I choke on the phlegm. Really, Kave got the best of me, man. Yeah. And not even sick, trust me. It's just from the workout I had yesterday. So I did get wicked out on Intel on that. And sometimes, like I use trailing stops oftentimes just in case something crazy happens on the last of the position. So that candle obviously got me out. So the plan is to just get back in. Obviously, I'm not going to be short over 21, but I can still short it to VWAP here on Intel. So that's the danger of using trailing stops, is that you might get a really, really bad fill. And that did happen to me there on Intel. So I'll try to get back in underneath VWAP. The only new position is going to be XLE. And what time is it? Yeah, we have a few minutes to go, so it's plenty of time until we round out. There's got to be a lot of things that we haven't covered today in small caps. I was in and out of Rigetti once, but if there's anything, I know that GV stock is going nuts. And I don't even understand how this thing is doing so much volume, because I pulled this up. It's done 55 million shares, and liquidity is like nonsensical. Like when I pull this over, like there's not a lot of liquidity on the level 2 to support the 55 million. So this is a halt potential, but it's riding VWAP. So the structure is good, the volume's great, but the liquidity looks a little bit concerning if you're trying to manage risk. I'm going to guess Sharif will be on that one. But the energy play, this is just in reaction to that Putin headline. That's all.
All right. I mean, Intel's, we just covered it. We're getting out of this one right here at the 200 period moving average. I now have a stock. So I just want to say, like, this trade, we're short at 15s here, 21.15, and this is what we're trying to do, is do and teach at the same time, right? We talked about this yesterday, like explaining where our stops are, as Neil just mentioned, getting run up there. It's like my stop here was 6 cents. We were getting stopped out at $11.21 on this trade. So when it came in there and it goes down into the 60s and prints the 200 period moving average, that's like an oh boy situation. And then it's not like it's a fluke, because oh boy, we used to say, oops, Brittany, we did it again. But I mean, this NVIDIA trade kind of like just like came out of nowhere. And again, it's like, like when I'm going, I'm going there, I'm working out, I'm swimming, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And you know what I'm thinking? I'm just like, if I just followed the rules, because like yesterday we went there, we came back and Intel was a monster. And it's because I looked back and it was like, yeah, 21 held, so we just were following the rules again. We wrote down 109.50 to get long on NVIDIA. I mean, it's now $2 in the money. So that trade working out for us. We knew we liked it. We're almost out of it. We almost have no AMD. The only trade that we're going to be red on today is going to be BigBear.ai, and this is very much position pending. We're long here at 37s. This does have that opportunity to go. And I hope it does. And it's BigBear.ai, so we're going to wait to see if there's any sort of an actionable trade here with this name. But yeah, I think there's an opportunity here to go. So we'll wait for it. If it does break $3, though, we are out of BBAI. Look, we only have 20% left of NVIDIA, but that 20% is pretty significant. So let's wait to see where it goes, man. Up to 111.50. Like the stock, let's just keep it going. I wanted to ask him, Kevin, but he sort of had to go. We knew that we were on a little bit of a timeline there, and so obviously he had some fun things to do and talk to us about as well. But Tesla just like, it's not really getting much love on anything right here. You just saw Nvidia bump up $2. Tesla did the same thing. So, you know, there is some love here for Tesla, but it's still down that 1.5% today. So might be a little something to think about there for everybody looking to trade some Tesla. I feel like it's relatively weak against the market. I don't have to feel that way, it is. And yeah, shorting underneath 261, 262, definitely a play there. So yeah, man, let's just keep this party rolling. It's been a great day, an absolutely great day today. Thank you to Kevin. Thank you to Rahim Alani as well from OCI. But what's up, Miss Adara?
Just be aware here, next, this might be more on watch for next week, but regardless, something involving trade and tariffs we always have to mention is worth noting. We actually have comments here that the U.S. Trade Representative is going to be holding a hearing on March 11th with regards to China's efforts to target the semiconductor industry for dominance. This according to a statement, so it sounds like this is going to come to pass. Watch out here next week, March 11th, apparently going to have a hearing held by the U.S. Trade Representative, guys. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adara. So you're getting a little bit of a rebound in energy here. It's holding VWAP, but you're catching some buyers right in around 87 even, or 87 like change on XLE. So if we break out VWAP, like I said, I'm going to be out of it. Rigetti went from out of play to right back into like memeville right quick on that. Like why Rigetti bounces on that headline doesn't really matter. It's above VWAP. It's about 8% up. It can go squeezing again. It doesn't have to make rational sense to anybody. You don't have to like it. But if it gets going back above VWAP, I want to see it hold, and then we'll jump right back into the long. Like obviously, when this happens, you don't know that headline's going to happen there. And I didn't want Rigetti under VWAP because I know Shreve has this rule, but I generally don't like these squeezers or runners either trying to go long VWAP unless it's the literal low for a reversion trade. And I just realized, you know what, my VWAP's going to be a little bit off on this chart because I'm missing some data there. So I'm going to have to use another chart for this where I'm not missing that because it didn't halt on Rigetti. So I want to see it hold around VWAP, but I'll probably go to my e-signal chart just to confirm the exact price. But once it bounces again, I want to be long Rigetti. We're still holding on to XLV. And Intel, plan is, I was kind of hoping we'd get another pop so I could get that short and not have to chase it all the way at the bottom. Still want to be short on Intel. But that wick out, it happens, man. You use a stop. That's what's going to happen to you. Let us know what else you guys are looking at in here because obviously this market is going nuts on individual names, but the Nasdaq is close to flat. We're trending down very slowly, so anything that was a short hasn't really changed my mind if we get those lower highs. And I don't like a lot of strength yet in some of the big cap tech names because we're still underneath the volume weighted average price. Rigetti's a bit of an exception because I call it a squeezer.
All right. There's only 30 seconds left. So, yeah, big thank you to everybody. A big shout out to Adara. Thanks for all that. I mean, she's been super busy with some of those infographics and dropping off all this information to us. So a big shout out to Miss Adara today. Thank you so much for that. I want to give a big thank you to Kevin for coming through. A big thank you to Rahim Alani. Thank you to Neil for all the explanations, all the trades. Thank you to Ramin there today on the ones and twos. Andre always doing a great job. Thanks to Fabian for getting me to film more stuff throughout lunch hour. Big Sharif over there, great job off the open and about to just absolutely show you what exactly they're made of here on the midday show. Joe, thanks for yesterday for the recap show. We had an absolutely bang up of a time. And yeah, Brendan's busy, but thanks, Brendan.
He's always on.
Yeah, so, all right, man. And a big thank you, of course, to the one and the only, the Bull, the Bear. It's Bears versus Bulls. So thank you so much for everything that you
Shout out
do
to his twin brother.
as well. Yes, he has a twin brother?
Well, we found that out on his birthday.
Oh, okay.
Because someone, basically it was like a happy birthday to his twin brother.
Which means?
Because Bears versus Bulls, you didn't tell us it was your birthday.
No.
But then obviously we were able to find that out the second you're wishing your brother.
Yeah.
Twin brother.
Twin brothers.
But it is past 11 o'clock, so these guys will owe us a minute. But let's go to the midday. It's learn to trade. You'll get your lesson. You'll get your small cap movers. I'm sure there's a few of those that have been bouncing around that we haven't been able to cover that you're about to get with Sharif
There should be some.
and Joe.